Well, a very good morning and welcome to Hove for day 2 of this county championship match between Sussex and Warwickshire. The bell has just been rung over in the pavilion and the umpires are making their way out to the middle. That's Graham Lloyd and Russell Warren. The good news, therefore, is that we're starting on time. There was a bit of light rain and drizzle about this morning, but that seems to have largely gone. And the light has improved considerably, actually, in the last half hour or so. It was very gloomy when I got here just after 10 o'clock this morning, but that has now changed, and it's certainly bright enough for cricket, and there are no floodlights on either. So great news, we are going to get underway on time, and I can see the Warwickshire players making their way out to the middle. Tom Haynes and Daniel Hughes. Haynes on 9, Hughes is on 8. Chris Wokes will be the bowler. He was 2 balls away from the end of his 3rd over before the light was deemed too bad to carry on yesterday, and we'll be getting back underway. I've got all sorts of funny noises coming through my my phone, so let me just see if I can turn those off. There we go, and we will be underway. Tap of the gloves for Hughes and Haynes. I'm Adrian Harms. If you want to get in touch with us throughout the day, we'd love to have your emails. We had lots yesterday on the first game of the season, which was here at Hove, which is sussexsport@bbc.co.uk. Just a quick test around the ground to our friends in the Spencama Pavilion. There we are, I think that's Tim. Hey, he's put his thumbs up. Hello, Tim, who looks nicely wrapped up. He will be concentrating on the cricket until about 3 o'clock, and then his attention will be drawn 250 miles north to Burnley as the Albion continue their very good form and hopefully make their way into Europe next season. We shall see. But they've got to beat Burnley today, so we'll keep abreast of all of that and all the action. We've got the Grand National today, of course, the Masters. Don't know if people watching Rory McIlroy last night, extraordinary. And then the astronauts landing this morning. It's all been a very exciting sort of 24 hours, really. I'll get very excited about the lunar rockets and all the rest of it. Takes me back to my childhood and Apollo 8 and all the rest of it. Anyway, enough of that. We're going to concentrate on cricket because Chris Wokes has got 2 balls remaining of his 3rd over, and he's going to come into bowl to the left-handed Tom Haynes. He's in and bowls, and Haynes is straight away on his way, a little bit loose from Wokes, and hammered away by Tom Haynes through backward point for 4 runs. Lovely shot. Tom Haynes goes to 13 and Sussex to 21 without loss. Rob Key was here yesterday. I've no idea if he's here today, but if he was, he would have liked that shot from Tom Haynes. First ball of the day, and Tom Haynes cracking it away through point for 4 runs. Wokes again in around the wicket, bowls, and Tom Haynes is at it again, driving firmly, but this time to that fielder who's at deep backward point and picks up a single. So 5 runs off the opening 2 balls of the day. Sussex are 22 without loss. Your commentary team here today, as it was yesterday, Richard Wilford from BBC WM. Richard's got a busy day because his radio station covers all sorts of football and sport on a Saturday, and Nikki Chowdhury here as well, but our main emphasis, of course, is on the cricket. Now, well, Ethan Bamber's going to get us underway from the C end of the ground. Now, I'm imagining, because we lost 9 overs yesterday, that we'll be looking to make those up today. So I'm assuming, I haven't seen confirmation, I've probably missed it, the lunch today will probably be at 1:10. And then I think tea is a little later as well. I'll try and get confirmation of that from the scorers as we look to make up those 9 overs. And actually, the weather forecast here today, it sort of gets better as the day goes on. So I think there's a reasonable chance that we could get the 96 plus the 9 that we lost yesterday in. But we'll have to see how that plays out. Either way, Ethan Bamber is going to get us underway from the C end. We've had 2 balls from Chris Wokes. And in comes Ethan Bamber with 3 slips go down. And Bamber is around the wicket, comes in and bowls. And Haynes plays this nicely off the hip down for 4 more. Well, just straying down the leg side. And Tom Haynes just cracks that one away through mid-wicket for 4 runs. So he's placed 3 balls this morning, Tom Haynes. And he scored 9 runs. And he's already on to 18. And Sussex on 26 without loss. A very happy 40th birthday today to Sam Keir, who was a formerly press officer here at Hove. But he's 40 today, is Sam. So many kind regards from everybody here at Sussex. As Haynes waits again. Good start for Sussex this morning. In comes Bamber bowls, and Haynes cracks that away, and he picks up a single to deep backward point. Picks up one to Haynes. He goes to 19 to 27 without loss. In terms of extra overs, oh right, this is good. Thank you, Jack. I get very confused by all the rules in cricket. I should know better, really. Thank you, Jack. He says, I think play finished after the scheduled close yesterday, which means they won't be trying to make up lost overs. I mean, how bonkers is that? So we lose 9 overs and we can't get them back because we finished after the scheduled close. I mean, wow. In comes Bamber bowls. Hughes takes a step down the wicket. The ball goes through to keeper Smith, who doesn't take it cleanly. To be honest, it sort of bounced 2 or 3 times before it got to him, and there is no run. Anyway, so no extra overs. So I guess the scheduled finish time yesterday was 6 o'clock, and we finished at about 1 minute past 6, I think. But how ridiculous is that, really? You know, you've lost 9 overs. Let's make them up. That's my view. In comes Bamber round the wicket bowls, and Hughes plays this one between gully and slip. They think about a second, but it isn't there. As the throw comes in, and it is 1 more to the total. So Sussex up to a good start this morning, 28 without loss. They've added 11 runs as Ethan Bamber wanders back to his mark. And 3 slips. There's a deep backward point, a cover mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, and a deep backward square leg as Bamber makes his way in from this, the C end of the ground. He's in and bowls, and Haynes is forward defensively, plays down the offside of the track, and there is no run. It's a very good morning to Nikki Chowdhury. Hi, Nikki.
Hi, Adrian. Hi, all. It's a bit chilly outside.
Well, you say you arrived and you came in and you said, oh, it's a bit chilly out there this morning.
Yeah, it is. And I just went down to the shark stand to get a nicer view of all the action, and it's a little bit chilly, although there is a bit of a wind tunnel down there.
There's not as many people here today, nowhere near as many people. It was very well attended yesterday, as in comes Bamber around the wicket and bowls, and Haynes is forward solidly and plays to mid-on. There is no run. So there we are, end of the over. 28 without loss. Hughes is on 9. Haynes is on 19. That was a fleeting appearance from Nikki, who will be back with us at 11:30. So I've said good morning to Nikki. I'm now going to say good morning to Richard Wilford.
Morning, Adrian.
How are you?
Yeah, good.
Lovely.
Good. Everything's doing what it's meant to be doing this morning. Got back to my hotel yesterday to find that my curtain had been put back up, so that was good news.
Yes. I'm pleased about that. You didn't break it again, did you?
Well, I made a point of just really going for the other side of the curtain today.
Right, okay.
It's kind of very strangely uneven. The right-hand side of the curtain covers about 80% of the window, and the bit that came off yesterday covers only 20%. There are 1 or 2 little things about the hotel that don't quite stack up, but you know, what can you do? As Wokes continues against Hughes, who hits it off the edge down into the ground, and it bounces up and is picked up by Webster in the gully.
Do you know, there's always much talk, Richard, isn't there, about, you know, what are the best days for county cricket, and people say, well, you've got to play cricket over a weekend. Now, yesterday there was over 1,000 people here yesterday. Today, I reckon there's a quarter of that, and it's a Saturday. So people say they want weekend cricket, but
yeah, it's an interesting thought. I mean, weather forecast improves today, actually.
Yeah.
As Wokes has that one pitching outside off and going further off the seam as he tries to find the line. The 2 left-handers are making life awkward for the 2 right-hand bowlers. I think sometimes an opening partnership of 2 left-handers is worse than the right-left combination, actually.
yes.
A lot of bowlers don't enjoy bowling to left-handers. But yeah, no, it is sparse here today, isn't it? And I know it's gloomy now, and there's a bit of sort of strong wind expecting this afternoon, but we're also expecting the sun.
We are, yeah.
So it could be quite pleasant. Wokes in again, good leave outside off stump. It's just offering to move off the seam here for Wokes.
Yes, I mean, I've got I haven't got an awful lot of sympathy with the cricket authorities, but I have to say, trying to find times when people want to watch cricket because they play in the week, everybody says, well, hang on a minute, everybody's at work and we can't watch, and now it's the weekend. Now, I know there's a lot on and it's still the football season. People have got things to do at weekends, I guess, but it's a disappointing crowd today. Perhaps it'll fill up a little later, we shall see.
Works once more in, left alone outside off stump. I mean, look, this first phase of the championship, we tend to go Friday, Monday, prior to the T20 Blast. After the T20 Blast, at the tail end of the season, it tends to be Tuesday, Friday. It'd be interesting to know whether counties vary, which counties do better in terms of numbers Tuesday, Friday, which do better Friday to Monday. Because we're still in the football season now, which won't help, albeit it's not like Brighton are at home. One of the more distant trips that they've got this season up at Burnley. It's a good leave on length this time from Hughes. That goes above the stumps and through to Kai Smith. So it's a puzzlement, isn't it? I mean, so it used to be, if you went back to the 70s and the 80s, Saturdays were the days that you'd be packed out.
Yeah, well, it's very noticeable today that the crowd is as I say, now maybe being a Saturday, maybe people wandering a little later on, but at the minute certainly there's not as many here as there were. I thought it was a good crowd yesterday.
Yeah.
And a very good piece by Mike Atherton in the Times yesterday. He was here yesterday about Sussex and the day's cricket in general. It's well worth a read.
For a moment I thought he was going to chop on as it is. He dabs it out into the offside. That might have kept a touch low. Picked up at point, and there's no run. 28 without loss. Yeah, I don't think he's here today. I think he's varying his diet of Championship cricket this week. He might want to see his son play, although I think Ollie Hannon-Dolby got him out yesterday.
Up at Lord's, yeah.
Up at Lord's, but I mean, look, I think Sussex was always going to be a story first home game.
Yes. I don't know. Again, Rob Key was here yesterday. Jeff Arnold was here yesterday. I've no idea whether either of those two are here today, or if they were here yesterday, who they came to watch in particular. Anyway, Ethan Bamber is going to get us running in from the C end of the ground. Comes into bowl to Haynes, who's beaten outside the off stump. Good delivery by Bamber, taken by Smith. No run. Now, one thing I said to you this morning was, Richard, I said, well, we'll have a late lunch today because we've got 9 overs to make up from yesterday. So lunch at 1:10, and then I thought, there we go. And then Jack, who's one of the very good media team here, Jack and Isaac, good morning to them. Jack sent me a message and he said, because we finished after the scheduled time yesterday, the 9 overs are not made up. I mean, how ridiculous is that?
That's madness.
In comes Bamber, bowls to Haynes. He's beaten twice in a row outside the off stump, through to Smith, no run. I mean, I'm going to get confirmation. I mean, I'm sure Jack's absolutely right, but we did finish just a little after 6. But
it was after 6 because I'd done my 3 minutes past 6 report before the players went off.
Well, there you go. So I reckon scheduled close was 6. But
who benefits from that rule?
It's just the most ridiculous rule, isn't it? So spectators have lost 9 overs. It's going to be a nice day today. Later, make the overs up. What's going on? Bamber in bowls to Haynes. Now Haynes is getting frustrated. He was beaten twice in a row, and then he's thrown the kitchen sink at a wider one. And I've known Tom Haynes for a long time. I've watched a lot of cricket from Tom, and sometimes that's just where, I don't know if it's a lapse of concentration or what it is, but that was a horrid shot, wasn't it?
I think it's his nature. He wants to get on with things.
Sure.
He knows that his route to international cricket is to score positively. He's got a little bit of an air of Ben Duckett about him, hasn't he?
Yes.
At the crease.
Yeah. Comes Bamber again, bowls, and he drives firmly down the ground, fielded by off his own bowler. I mean, I have to say, if that previous shot he cracks it through the covers for 4, I'm turning around and saying, great shot by Tom Haynes. But if you get out and your foot isn't anywhere near the pitch of the ball, then that I don't think that looks great. But actually, if the narrative is to be believed with England now, maybe you don't have to smash the ball all round the park to get into the side.
No,
but do you believe the narrative? That's the point.
No, I think you still do.
Do you? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In comes Bamber, bowls, and Haynes. I thought he almost played on it. It's a strange shot. It's almost like he's going to cut that one away through backward point. But good over this from Ethan Bamber. But I just don't understand. Perhaps you'd like to get in touch. Sussex Sports at bbc.co.uk. Maybe I'm being unreasonable in saying these 9 overs we lost yesterday perhaps there's a very good reason why they shouldn't be made up.
So if they had gone off for bad light 5 minutes earlier,
Yes.
we would have made up 8 overs today. So that we would have had a net gain of about 6 overs. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't, does it? And, when we're trying to get people involved and interested and understanding county cricket, it's just a ridiculous rule, in my opinion. Bamber in bowls. Haynes is struck. Well, it sounded quite woody, actually, but back-to-back maidens. One from Chris Wokes, one from Ethan Bamber. So Sussex got off to a bit of a flyer this morning. They got 11 runs off the first over and 2 balls. But since then, maiden overs from Wokes and Bamber. Sussex still 28 without loss.
It may well have been bat on to pad that, and but it felt very much safe. I mean, look, if we've got 8 overs fewer today, I'm not entirely disappointed, because having been a relatively good boy, and I've been back in my room for 9 o'clock each of the last 2 days.
Have you?
Oh, I have, yeah. I mean, I still went out for a pint, but I went out early, and then a meal deal. I mean, honestly, it's a little bit tragic, but a meal deal. So, didn't spend much money, but I am due out with a relative tonight.
Right.
As Wokes comes into bowl to Hughes, dabs it down towards point, hoping to find a gap, but doesn't, and there'll be no run.
So where are you going to go? Somewhere in Hove or down into Brighton? Or?
In Hove, actually. We're going out for a meal in Hove.
Nice.
So to a Thai restaurant, people from Hove might narrow that down quite quickly.
Yeah. There's a couple of nice ones. I forget. I better not name it anyway, because others might say, hang on, you haven't mentioned my Thai restaurant, but there's some very nice restaurants.
Exactly, but I think somewhere over our left shoulder down that way.
Okay.
Yeah. So very much looking forward to that. As this is left alone outside off stump. He's a lad called David, who was down yesterday, actually watched some of the cricket. He's coming for the final session today. And he's technically my mum's cousin, but he's between me and her in age. We used to play together when he was a teenager and I was still at primary school. But his family have lived in Jersey, then Haywards Heath, and then he's settled around Hove. And I've only seen him 3 or 4 times in the last 40 years. So it's going to be really nice to sit down and have a catch-up. As Hughes awaits, he advances down the wicket a little bit here, then gets wrapped on the pad. It bounces before it reaches Bo Webster. No appeal for LBW because he was on the march. It would have been impossible for umpire Lloyd to give anything in the bowler's favour there. But a little bit of edginess from Dan Hughes.
So you've got a bit of catching up to do then.
Yeah, the last few years I've seen him briefly in that he always comes up for the opening day of the Edgbaston Test.
Right.
And he'll visit my mum and I'll take him back to the station, usually via a brewery. As this one is a much better choice from Hughes. He leaves the ball that's gone just above stump height. Again, whilst bowling round the wicket, Wokes is getting it to move away off the seam to the left-hander. It remains 28 without loss. Wokes and Bamber are starting to find their rhythm a little bit. So our schedule is very much as yesterday, then, in terms of play. That's come as a surprise to me, what you've told me, as Wokes bowled, jabbed out down towards gully and picked up by Bo Webster. Well, it's an interesting one, isn't it? It really is a curious one, that. I'm
actually just checking, I'm sure Jack's absolutely right, so I'm not doubting Jack, but I'm just getting it from the horse's mouth from the scorers. So hopefully we'll get that shortly. But
yeah,
that's. I just assumed if you lost overs, you made them up the next day.
Well, I mean, we know from the scorers because the fact that it says overs remaining 92.
Well, there you go. So they're right. Yeah.
So today we are going to have 96 overs and 2 balls because we got the 2 balls that Chris Wokes had left over. Wokes to Hughes, that's a well-judged leave. It wasn't too far wide of off stump. Good probing over from Wokes, his second successive maiden. 28 without loss, Sussex trailing by 239.
In fact, 3 maidens in a row now, after one from Ethan Bamber. Who's playing test matches up at Edgbaston this year? Is it New Zealand that are over and Pakistan, I think?
I'll have to look that up.
Oh. But they're always well attended, aren't they? In the Hollies.
Edgbaston is always tremendously attended. It is a hot ticket, to be fair. And they do say that the home atmosphere, the players love it at Edgbaston.
Yeah.
So
Bamber round the wicket bowls to Haynes, who flirts with one outside the off stump. And Bamber and Wokes are asking all sorts of questions at the moment of Hughes and Haynes, and this is a tough little session for Sussex to get through. Tom Haynes remarks his crease and does a bit of gardening. I was in the Hollies actually, Richard, in the Ashes in 2005. That amazing day when Freddie got a load of runs, and then he almost bowled England to victory on that fourth day. And it was an electric atmosphere that day. Bamber around the wicket, bowls. Haynes again plays and misses outside the off stump. He's got the ball on a piece of string here as Ethan Bamber.
It's Pakistan is the Edgbaston Test.
Okay.
And it's in the deep, dark and dim days of September.
Really?
Starts on Wednesday the 9th of September. But we're going to have a tremendous late summer in Birmingham, so I recommend attending.
Well, in comes... Well, let's hope so, Richard. In comes Bamber bowls, and Haynes' forward plays this to mid-wicket. Or mid-on, rather. There is no run. I was reading on the BBC website last night that they reckon there's going to be a change in El Nino weather pattern next year, and it's all going to be complete. I don't know what it means for this summer. I've got no idea. There's a very long article which was a bit complicated for me.
Yeah, I saw it, but I didn't click on it this morning.
Right, yeah. I think it said it might be a colder winter next year. Who knows?
I can't be doing with the cold.
Bamber runs away from us. 3 slips go down. In and bowls, and Haynes plays firmly out into the offside. Good bit of fielding, tumbling save out by the clock tower scoreboard. Restricts Haynes to a single, but he'll just be pleased, I think, Tom Haynes, to get bat on ball. He goes to 20, and Sussex to 29 without loss.
Wouldn't it be nice to be one of those people who could afford to say, oh, it's winter now, I'm just going to go to the Canaries for 3 months?
Yes.
Wouldn't it be nice to be one of those people? So you get the warmth through your bones.
Yeah. Well, certainly down here, I don't know what it was like in the Midlands. It just seemed to be wet all winter, really. It was just cloudy and a bit miserable, to be honest. In comes Bamber, bowls, and clipped away by Daniel Hughes down towards fine leg. That's going to be 4 runs. Now, that's a rare loose delivery from Ethan Bamber, and Daniel Hughes, who's been tied down this morning together with Tom Haynes, very glad just to clip that one away down to fine leg for a boundary, and Sussex go to 33 without loss. And the wind is getting up. I can see the trees swaying around and the flags billowing away on the clock tower scoreboard. You were saying, Richard, that I think the local forecast is it's going to get a bit blowy later on.
Well, yeah, we're looking around 3 o'clock. They're predicting winds in the area of 40 miles an hour.
Right.
Now, that's the sort of level of winds that caused some real damage at Durham last week. So it'll do some damage to those towels which are still out. It's the same towels are out.
Bamber in, bowls to Hughes, who works this into the gully. There is no run. End of Ethan Bamber's 5th over. He's got figures of 0 for 16 with 1 maiden. Sussex off to a decent start here, 33 without loss. Hughes on 13, Haynes on 20. You're listening to live cricket on BBC Radio Sussex, BBC WM. Adrian Harms, Richard Wilford and Nicky Chowdhury are your commentary team.
If anything, there are more towels. This is a balcony that's behind the main scoreboard, the larger scoreboard here at Hove. So it's away to our right, and for people who are on the main side where the stand is, they probably can't see that one because it's probably directly behind the scoreboard. But the lower array of towels, which on the left-hand side are, I'm going to call them murky shades, and then there's a couple of slightly brighter ones, but now above them there's some black ones, as Wokes comes in and bowls, and he's clipped off his hips very neatly by Haynes. There should be at least a couple. Alex Davis is the favourite to get there first, and indeed he does, so 2 more to Haynes. He's 22, 35 without loss. And then, are those socks, do you think, Adrian, on the top left of that balcony?
I reckon they're hankies. Handkerchief. Well,
No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not. They're heavier. They're too heavy to be handkerchiefs. That would be a throwback if somebody was drying 7 handkerchiefs on a line simultaneously. Wokes round the wicket again to Haynes, who guides this to deep backward point for a single. 36 without loss.
I think they're too big for socks.
Don't know. My socks are probably that big.
Well, there's an array of washing on the washing line. As I say, people in the Spen camera probably think, what on earth are they talking about?
But if those towels didn't get dry yesterday, what's going to happen now?
Well, they're still going to be wet.
Well, they can't still be wet, can they?
Well, perhaps they've been swimming this morning.
Wokes in. Driven again towards deep backward point. Now, see, now Nicky is laughing at the notion of swimming this. I saw, so I was surprised myself, 2 women this morning who had been in the sea and were coming back, crossing the road on the front in dressing gowns, in white hotel dressing gowns, and they very nearly got run over because they totally misjudged the traffic.
Really? Yeah.
But their hair was wet, they'd been in the sea. I mean, I'm sure it was invigorating. Wokes in, looking for a moment like Haynes was going to try and hit him over the top, but in the end he guides him again to the deep point fielder who picks it up for the 3rd time. And then Kai Smith gets tangled up with the stumps there and knocks the bails off as he catches it.
Invigorating is one word, Richard. I think freezing is another one.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Invigorating in such a way that it might make you squeal significantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about all this stuff about, cold water's good for you and having a 5-minute shower in cold water in the morning. I'm just not sure about all that.
No. Wokes once more in, and this is turned towards mid-wicket. And there's no run, first dot ball of the over, but Warwickshire have not particularly looked like taking wickets yet this morning, and this is very encouraging for Sussex. I think 267 felt below par, but the ball did nibble around all day.
Yeah, Finn said that last night. Finn Hudson-Prentice said that it surprised him. It did nibble about a bit.
Kai Smith was talking about that, and we talked about it being slightly too pace, and Kai Smith believed that was the case.
Right.
That 1 or 2 balls bounced a bit more than you expected them to. This is very full though, and will be driven towards the cover boundary, and that will be 4 more. This time to Hughes. He helps himself up to 18, 42 without loss, and that's after just 11 overs. So Sussex going along very nicely. We did see yesterday that certainly you got a bit more reward if you were positive with the bat.
Yes. A couple of emails come in. Simon Goodman's been in touch. Hello, Simon. He says, just a quick hello from the pavilion. Lovely to have you on the commentary. My friends and I awarded me the comment of the weekend last week regarding Ben Folkes, who made 139, and I apparently said he can't bat according to the England management. Well, they did say that. I mean, he's the best wicketkeeper in the country, and he should have gone to the Ashes.
I mean, I have an issue with the email.
Go on.
But self-praise is no praise at all. he needed one of his colleagues to say, my friend, Mr. Goodman, came up with the best comment of the week last week.
He also says, I'm sheltering from the wind in the corner of the pavilion. Solo today, so glad to have you and the team in my ear. Simon's hiding away somewhere.
That's very wise.
Yeah. So that's from Simon. Now, this is interesting. I've had an email from John Reeve who says all he can hear on the stream is the commentary from yesterday. Now, I don't know if that might be the club stream you're listening to, John. I don't think it'll be the BBC stream because that's going out okay. As Bamber is in bowls and Haynes is struck around about the thigh pad, the ball bounces down on the onside. So if you listen to the BBC, I'll have to check the club stream in a minute. But
it depends how he's getting it. He might have just latched onto the wrong day.
Yeah. If you go to from the BBC commentary, if you're just listening online, well, he can't be listening. Well, maybe he is, I don't know. I have to reply by email. John Malone has been in touch from Bexhill. He says, hello, Adrian, Richard and Nicky. Coming through loud and clear on the stream. Good to have cricket back. In comes Bamber. In and bowls. Haynes drives down to deep backward point, picks up another single. He goes to 25, total 44 without loss. He says, do we really think Sussex will want Robinson in the England setup, considering our injury crisis in the bowling department for the next few months? I know it's the same for most counties. And he goes on to say, considering how long you chaps are on air, they should give you top hotels to re-energise your energy for the next day. There you go, Richard.
What ones where the curtains don't fall off?
Yeah.
And where we can afford breakfast? Yeah, that would be good.
In comes Bamber, bowls to Hughes, plays it into the offside. Well, you can always drop a line to the Director General or something.
No, like I'm saying, it has other idiosyncrasies. It's not a bad hotel, and it's very close to the city centre in Brighton. I'm at most a 10-minute walk from the lanes.
Oh.
It's always nice to walk around the lanes and look at things you can't afford, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice around the lanes. Rowan's been in touch, and he's putting me in my place, which is
this is harsh.
In comes Bamber, round the wicket, bowls to Hughes. Good judgment, lets it go outside the off stump, taken by Smith. There is no run. On this occasion, he says, I'll stand up for the rule on overs lost. As with any arbitrary rule, it throws up anomalies, but I think something that offers some protection for players and particularly seamers is sensible. In this case, it puts a backstop in to prevent 2 ultra-long days. 96 overs is already plenty for spectators. He says, thank you for the coverage. Well, it's always good to get another view.
Yeah, but defending a rule and calling it arbitrary in the same sentence is interesting, isn't it?
It comes at Bamber bowls, and Hughes plays firmly to mid-off, and there is no run.
The point is, it would be just 104 over day today. It's not stretching them out for 2 successive days. Yesterday we only saw 87 overs of cricket, or whatever it was. So they've not been overworked. It wasn't the same team in the field yesterday either. I mean, it could be that Warwickshire would have bowled 104 overs today if that had been the rule. It's an interesting one. It's a fair defence he's offered.
Bamber in bowls, and Hughes plays into the gully. Nice and tidy from Ethan Bamber, just the 1 run off the over. 43 without loss. Just before you carry on, Richard, the match centre has now been fixed. Thank you, Jack, for letting us know. So John, if you're listening, or you're trying to listen, hopefully you can hear us now.
Oh, okay. It's on the match centre. They're good things, these match centres, though. I think so. If I go away for a summer holiday, it's the oddest thing, and I don't do it for long because it'd be a bit sad to travel overseas and then be just watching the cricket when you're on your holiday with your family. But if everybody's having a bit of a siesta or something, it's just lovely to click onto a game and
do you have a sneaky look, do you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But then you can't get away from work, you need to...
No, there's this cracking thing, maybe a Warwickshire player brings up the 100 and then you go and jump in the pool. I think that's to celebrate. Top bombing. Here's Chris Wokes, still looking for a breakthrough here, the Bears, this morning. And they won't get it here because that is going to be leathered to that cover boundary on the short side. You just can't drop short of a length there. It will sit up as it did for Haynes, and he's dispatched it immaculately. 29 to him, 47 without loss. Sussex trailing by 220.
Lovely shot by Tom Haynes. That really was a belting shot. Made runs a half century last week up at Leicester. Rather missed out in the second innings, but he's hit some cracking shots this morning.
Wokes approaches again. It's a similar shot, but it's squarer, so it's to that deep point fielder for a single. 48 without loss. Sussex will be extremely pleased with the way this first half hour has gone.
They will.
There won't be any work being done on the scaffolding today. They got to burst into life about midday yesterday. Wouldn't want to be up there in the breezes today.
What do you reckon they're doing? Do you reckon they're painting? I mean, because they did look really scruffy last year, those flats. The paint was all peeling off. It looked horrible, but that's a lot of scaffolding up there.
Works once more, and that's going to be 4 fine. There's an appeal for LBW, and it is going to be leg byes. It's gone very, very fine indeed, but that is the Sussex 50. And it comes up midway through the 13th over. So going at more than 4 and over and eating into this Warwickshire first innings pretty rapidly here. 75 balls for the 50 partnership, just 49 minutes. And as is so often the case, Daniel Hughes and Tom Haynes off to a sharp start.
No, absolutely. Oh, we've got an update to do. You can keep going for a bit longer, Richard.
It's this time tucking up Hughes, this ball from Wokes. Kept a rather straighter line. And almost hit him amidships. Goes out into the offside. Weather forecast is telling us it's going to be windy, that we're hearing at the moment. Not as windy tomorrow, which is a real relief for the runners going right. It was the bit of my walk in today that was down the seafront was extremely breezy and gusty. As this is guided again towards the backward point fielder by Hughes. There's a single there for them every time. He's to 19, 53 without loss.
Yes, we should say good luck to all the runners in the Brighton Marathon tomorrow. And if you think of doing the marathon and you want to watch some cricket, well, it is free entry here at Hove tomorrow. You need to go online, and you can get your tickets that way. But free entry to the cricket. And I think it's meant to be a decent weather forecast tomorrow as well, so that's good news. Yes, it's a grey morning here in Hove, but we started on time, which is great news, and Sussex are going along very nicely. They're 53 without loss in their first innings. That in reply to the Warwickshire total yesterday of 267, and Tom Haynes leading the way. He's 32 not out. He's hit a couple of cracking boundaries this morning. Daniel Hughes is with him on 19. Meanwhile, up at the Oval, Surrey have lost some wickets this morning, but they're still in a good position against Leicestershire, 456 for 7. Meanwhile, down at Canterbury, they're off for bad light. Kent may be pleased about that because Northant's going along very nicely. They're 437 for 1. There we go. That's our cricket update done. As Nikki comes and joins us, and it's going to be Ethan Bamber who's going to come in from the C end of the ground, running around the wicket, in and bowls, and Hughes drills that away through the covers. It's rolling out towards the boundary. I'm not sure it's going to get there. Will it be 4 runs? No, very good bit of fielding, a very athletic piece of fielding by a man without a number on the back of his shirt. So I do apologise to our listeners in the West Midlands. Very good bit of fielding, but not before Daniel Hughes comes back for a 3rd run. And Sussex go to 58. I said good morning about half an hour ago, and then Richard came in, so I'm going to say good morning again to Nikki.
Good morning, Adrian.
And Sussex off to a bit of a flyer here this morning.
Yeah, they really are. These two going really well, looking solid from the moment they've been out there. Very stark difference to how Warwickshire started day 1.
Yes. In comes Bamber round the wicket, bowls, and Haynes is bowled. I think he's played on, actually. I think he's inside edge that onto the stumps. Just as we were praising Sussex and saying they're off to a great start, Tom Haynes is on his way. Now, you may get a better look of that on the replay. We haven't got the replay set up in here yet, but it just looked to me like he might have dragged that one on from outside the off stump. Let's see again. I'm not sure if he inside edged it or whether it just went straight through Tom Haynes. Either way, Tom Haynes has got 32 or 41 balls in 53 minutes with 5 boundaries, and a wicket goes, and it is that of Tom Haynes. He is on his way for 32.
Yeah, I don't think he made contact. Looking at the replay, it's not a very zoomed in version, but just getting a better look. It looks like it just jagged back, and Haynes himself was just slightly off the shot. Yeah, it just looks like it jagged back, and Haynes wasn't fully forward. His body weight was just slightly stuck in the middle, and then couldn't quite make up for that cut back. But just as we were praising them, Adrian.
Yes, always the way, isn't it? And a wicket goes down. Thank you, John, for your email. So John is back up and running and able to watch the cricket here. Live cricket on the BBC, BBC Radio Sussex, BBC WM, Adrian Harms, Nikki Chowdhury, Richard Wilford, your commentary team. If you're just joining us this morning, Sussex resumed to 17 without loss. I mistakenly thought they were extra overs because we lost 9 yesterday, but because we finished after the scheduled finishing time, which would have been 6 o'clock, we don't get the extra 9 overs today, which I think seems a bit odd, but we had an email from Rowan who said he thinks that he understands that rule, and I don't know what your view is. Let us know. sussexsport@bbc.co.uk.
Sorry, I missed that. I don't think I was...
Rowan, who is one of our contributors, said he understands the rule and thinks that's
So
right.
we don't get the overs lost back. Oh,
no.
okay.
In comes Bamber, bowls, Clark, who's another left-hander, lets that go outside the off stump. And there is no run.
The reason behind that is... Because normally...
Well, normally you... Because we finished after the scheduled finish time. So the scheduled finish time yesterday was 6 o'clock. And because we finished after 6 o'clock, it means you don't get the additional overs, even though we didn't get a full quota in the day.
I kind of get it.
My personal view is I think it's ridiculous, and I think you pay your money. If the light, if the light's going to be good today, you should play those extra overs. But the point Rowan was making is sometimes it can then make it a very long day. In comes Bamber, bowls to Clark, who lets that go outside the off stump. There is no run. An email from Dominic Arbuthnot, who says, "Good morning, Adrian. Dominic here, watching the opening overs in Buenos Aires at 7 a.m, enjoying the end of the summer here before flying back to Budapest for the European summer. Really pleased with Sussex's start of the season in Division 1.
What do our listeners do? Because I am so fascinated by the lives of so many of them.
Bamber, in bowls, and Clark has top edged that. He's caught at mid-off. It's 2 wickets and an over, and all of a sudden Warwickshire are right back in the match. Tom Clark looking to turn the ball onto the leg side. Richard Wilford was saying he spoke to Kai Smith last night, who thought the pitch was a little bit too paced, and it looked as if Tom Clark was completely deceived, looking to clip the ball to the leg side. Top edge, caught at mid-off, 2 wickets down in an over, and how the 4-day game can change. 58 without loss, all of a sudden 58 for 2, and the game's got a completely different complexion.
Absolutely. Bamber striking twice, and yeah, I think that 2-pace element is definitely there. Just looking on the replay, Tom Clark looking to turn it into the leg side, but looks like the ball just stopped on him and he's gone through with the shot. And that bat face closing as the ball hits bat, and then boom, a nice little simple catch.
Just spooned up into the air, didn't it? It was a straightforward catch to mid-off, where it's caught by the skipper Ed Barnard. And all of a sudden, things have turned around. Sussex off to a good start. And now they've lost 2 in an over. Yeah, listening over in Buenos Aires. And then flying back to Budapest. Yeah, I mean, what a great life that is.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough to go to Argentina, one of my favourite countries. I loved it.
I really want to go. I've heard that if you like steak and if you like some red wine, it's the place to be.
It is, and if you like fabulous scenery and it's just what's not to love. I absolutely loved it. It's a great country.
Nice.
However, we're concentrating on the cricket, and Warwickshire having interesting. Richard said in his commentary he didn't think they looked like taking wickets this morning. Suddenly they've taken 2 in and over, and they're right back in this. And James Coles comes out to do a little bit of gardening. He's going to face the next delivery from Bamber. 2 wickets in the over. And Sussex at 58 for 2. Yesterday, Warwickshire making 267. So thank you, Dominic, for your email. Arbuthnot is an interesting surname. Bamber is going to come over the wicket to the right-handed Coles, the first right-hander for Sussex today. In comes Bamber bowls, and Coles clips away. Oh, it's a glorious shot. Well, that dismissive by James Coles. I mean, the first ball he's received, a couple of wickets have gone down in the over. Bamber strays in length towards middle of the leg, and he just picked off by James Coles. It's one of his favourite shots, that sort of whip away through the leg side. Gorgeous shot. He's on his way. And Sussex at the end of an eventful over. They included 2 wickets for Ethan Bamber, who I think is an excellent bowler. 62 for 2, formerly of Middlesex. Hughes on 22, Coles on 4. What a way to get off the mark, Nikki.
Absolutely ideal. If you're a new batter, you just come in and the first ball you've got is a half volley coming down on your pads. You've clipped that away. You're feeling good. And that's exactly what James Coles did as he came in.
And actually, Julian says, "Good morning, gentlemen. It's a bit chilly on the top tier of the pavilion today. I'm wearing my Brighton and Hove Albion winter duvet coat today." He says, "Tricky batting conditions this morning against a good quality attack." I agree with all of that. It is chilly. He's got his Brighton coat on. And it is tricky batting conditions, not least because it is overcast. And this is a quality bowling attack.
Here's Booth into Hughes from the Cromwell Road end, and he just tucks this off the back foot into the leg side, and he'll scamper through for a single as well.
Yes, Julian, as with a few who are in the ground today, will be keeping a keen eye on events at Turf Moor later on today. Very warm welcome to listeners to BBC Sports Extra. From an overcast Hove, where Sussex were going along very nicely on 58 without loss in reply to Warwickshire's 267 yesterday, but they've lost 2 wickets in an over. Tom Haynes bowled by Ethan Bamber for 32, and then Tom Clark in the same over, mistiming a clip onto the leg side and top edging to mid-off. He was out for a duck.
Here's Booth into Coles now. 3 slips in place, and this one's left alone outside the off stump.
Commentary here from myself, Adrian Harms, alongside Nikki Chowdhury. It's been an absorbing sort of day in a bit's cricket, hasn't it, Nikki? I mean, it was a terrific day's cricket yesterday, and everything you want from a county championship game, a game that ebbed and flowed with Warwickshire 117 for 6, then a recovery, and then Sussex picking up late wickets. It really was an all-action day.
Absolutely. Booth running down the slope. He's into Coles, who's on his toes and defends the ball into the offside. Extra cover comes running in to pick it up. There's a lot more energy amongst the Warwickshire players now after those 2 wickets, and I'd say they're 2 pretty big wickets for them as well, because once Tom Haynes finds his flow, he can go on to score big, and likewise with Tom Clark, scored runs last week in Leicestershire. Coles taps his bat and awaits. Back of a length again on his toes, and this time hits the inner half of the bat and goes to mid-wicket, no run.
Yeah, you're right. And interesting with Tom Clark, he made a very good 100 at Leicester last week, and he started off last season. He made a big 100 at Edgbaston, but then his season rather fell away, and eventually he was ended up being dropped from the county championship side. And he was really determined this year, Tom, that shouldn't happen. So he'll be bitterly disappointed to have missed out today. But I think there was a slight mitigating circumstances in that shot.
Off the back foot, this is punched through the offside. It's a beautiful looking shot there from James Coles. He finds the gap, and the ball does have the legs to go all the way, even though that offside boundary is so far. But the ball wins. It's a lovely shot there from Coles. Beautiful timing.
Well, he's played 2 shots. He's walked out to the middle. His first ball he received from Ethan Banbury, clipped away off middle and leg. Gorgeous shot through mid-wicket for 4. And that on the other side of the wicket, just a bit short. As you described it beautifully, just punched the ball away through extra cover. That was a gorgeous shot.
There is that gap as well. We've got extra cover and a point, and just found the gap right bang in the middle as Michael Booth approaches the crease now, and Coles again off the back foot, waits, opens the blade, but this time finds point and will not get that one to go by. 5 runs from the over. Sussex are 67 for 2. Hughes on 23. Coles on to 8.
And you're listening to live cricket on the BBC. BBC Sports Extra, BBC Radio Sussex, BBC WM. Welcome to a cloudy, if not chilly, Hove. Not as big a crowd as there was here yesterday for the first day of the match, but a few more spectators filing into the ground. And if you're in the area tomorrow, it's a busy day in Brighton. It's the Brighton Marathon, and also free entry tomorrow here at Hove. You just need to go online to the Sussex Cricket Club website and claim your free tickets. Rob Key, we understand, was here yesterday. We know not who he was here to watch. Maybe Dan Mosley, who made a very good 100 last week against Surrey. Maybe Ollie Robinson, maybe Tom Haynes, who knows. But in comes Ethan Bamber, around the wicket to bowl to the Australian Daniel Hughes, who lets that ball go outside the off stump, taken low down by his bootlaces by Kai Smith, and there is no run.
I do think, though, Adrian, since yesterday, the outfield may have just picked up a little bit of pace. Just in comparison to what we saw with a few shots that were played yesterday, and then James Coles just coming in now and just finding the boundary with ease, and ball didn't really seem to be slowing down as much.
I mean, the outfield does look absolutely, it's like a billiard table here at Hove, as in comes Bamber, around the wicket bowls to Hughes, who again lets that go, taken by Smith again low down. The rest of the field, 2 slips and a gully, there's a deep backward point, a cover mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, and a deep backward square leg way out in the distance. It's certainly a jumper day today. Ethan Banbury's bowling has just got his short sleeve shirt on, but I'm sure we'll get a jumper on fairly quickly. But the weather forecast is good here. Certainly an improving picture throughout the day, which is good news as Banbury's back to his mark. Comes in bowls to Hughes, and Hughes again just lets this one go outside the off stump, taken by Smith. There is no run.
I'm sure there's going to be lots of hand warmers in the pockets of all the players today.
Yeah.
Do you think the sides perhaps just carry around a box full of hand warmers for the early season? Because I think it would make perfect sense to, like a whole box. Just help yourself. April, all the April fixtures, just there you go, dig in.
Well, I think you heard them call out yesterday, didn't
Yeah,
you?
I did, actually.
Bring out the warmers, yeah.
After tea, I think it was 3-4 of the Sussex lads signalled to the dressing room.
Bamber in bowls to Hughes. Oh, he very nearly dragged that on. He was looking to smash that away through the covers, but he didn't get there at all, and the ball dribbled back onto his stumps, and Daniel Hughes then just had to sort of poke the ball away with his bat to save it rolling onto the stumps and dislodging a bail. If you'd like to join our conversation, please do so. sussexsport@bbc.co.uk. No extra overs today, despite the fact we lost 9 yesterday. Is a point of conversation because we finished after the scheduled finish time. Bamber in, round the wicket bowls, Hughes forward, and he glides the ball down to third man, and he's going to pick up a boundary, it is. Daniel Hughes, he's going to go to 27, and Sussex to 71 for 2. James Cole's on 8. The men out for Sussex, Tom Haynes for 32. Tom Clark without scoring, both wickets to Ethan Bamber. And the light, Nikki, I think is getting better all the time here. It was quite gloomy this morning. We haven't had the lights on at all today, but that sort of briskish breeze is just making the clouds break up a little, and away to the southwest it looks like there's some much brighter skies coming in, as in comes Bamber. Around the wicket bowls, Hughes again lets that one go outside the off stump. He'd be a bit disappointed there, Ethan Bamber, because Daniel Hughes was able to let 3 deliveries in that over just pass by outside of the off stump without playing. End of the over, 71 for 2. Hughes 27, Coles is on 8.
Yeah, it definitely has improved. When I left home this morning to make my way down to the ground, it was awfully dark, and I did think, wow, I'd be surprised if we didn't manage to start on time. It was very, very dark, but as I drove down it started to look brighter and clear up, and now it's a lot better since I arrived, actually. And just having a look at the forecast, we're meant to have sunshine, I think, from 2 o'clock onwards, which will be much welcomed.
It certainly will.
Right, Michael Booth with ball in hand from the Cromwell Road end is looking down at James Coles, who taps his bat with 2 slips behind him. Booth into Coles, who flicks this all just shy of mid-wicket. This is hit uppishly. It won't go all the way, but he'll come back for a couple.
I think that was possibly a chance, Nicky. He got his hand to it. It was in the air from James Coles. That's one of the things with James Coles, that little shot away through mid-wicket. He's just rehearsing it. It goes in the air, and I just wonder if the fielder got a hand to that, you know. We can't see on the stream. If so, I wonder if that was a chance. It was to the left of mid-wicket, but it was uppish from James Coles. He's picked up a couple of runs.
And he comes again, this time on his toes, and plays this to point. They're in 2 minds about taking a single, bit of a fumble, but they come through in the end. Yeah, I think just the nature, we said that this wicket could be slightly double pace than that shot in the previous ball from Coles. Hit uppishly, it's slightly harder. When the wicket is slightly slower, you need a lot more control on it to keep that ball along the ground. 74 for 2 here now, Sussex. Dan Hughes, left-hand, right-hand combination currently. As in runs Booth, right arm over the wicket. Hughes forward, opens the blade and runs this down to third. We'll take a single. Brings Coles back onto strike, and I believe today is also the opening weekend, Adrian, for the Metrobank One Day Cup women's fixtures in Div 1, Tier 1.
Yes, and actually tomorrow, Sussex are in Tier 2.
They're Tier 2, yep.
They start tomorrow, and Alexia Walker, who's the coach of the women's team, is going to come and have a natter. I'm told that was a chance that James Coles offered, clipped away to mid-wicket.
This one just played off the hips by Coles. He advances down the wicket a couple of paces. It goes down to fine leg. It's come off the thigh pad, has been signalled by the umpire. Leg by. Yeah, Durham are taking on Lancashire, Hampshire taking on Essex down at the Utilita, Somerset versus Yorkshire women, and Yorkshire 74 for 4 already, and Warwickshire taking on Surrey women, and Surrey also 98 for 4 up at Edgbaston. Michael Booth into Daniel Hughes now. Short ball pulled away in the air, catches the call, but it will bounce very far away from the deep square leg fielder. No risk there, and they'll take the single as well.
So the chance was put down by Jordan Thompson off of James Coles. It was low, it was hit firmly by James Coles, having got his hand to it. Probably be disappointed not to have clung on. Thank you, Isaac, who's operating the stream and had a better view of it. Well, perhaps we should have seen it, but it was away to his left-hand side.
Booth into Coles now, is forward and pushes this to cover. No run, and that will also conclude the end of the over. Sussex is 77 for 2, Hughes on 29, Coles with 11.
You listen to live cricket on the BBC, BBC 5 Sports Extra, BBC Radio Sussex and BBC WM. Adrian Harms and Nikki Chowdhury, your commentary team. Wickets tumbling around the country, although not at Chelmsford, where Somerset are 208 for 5 in reply to Essex's total yesterday of 149. Craig Overton going along. Is that Craig Overton? I always get confused between the Overtons. Yes, it is Craig Overton, who's a Somerset skipper. He's at 64 not out. Glamorgan in real trouble at Trent Bridge. They're 93 for 8 in reply to Nottinghamshire's 279. 4 wickets there for Fergus O'Neill, who I think is such a good cricketer, and I'm sure he's going to be around the Australian squad that come to defend the Ashes next summer. He's a really good all-round cricketer. Change of bowling. Ed Barnard coming into the attack. Bowls to Daniel Hughes. Hughes is forward. The ball strikes the pad, and Barnard makes more of a polite inquiry of umpire Warren, who says that's not out. At the Oval, Surrey 491 for 7 against Leicestershire. There were some early wickets this morning, but Jordan Clark, he's 50 not out. And Tom Laws, who's developing into a very good all-round cricketer, 35 not out as Surrey continue to rack up the runs at the Oval. Barnard in again, bowls, and Hughes dabs that down to fine leg and picks up a single. He goes to 30 and the total to 79 for 2. At Headingley, Yorkshire 73 for 4 in reply to Hampshire's 251. In the second division, Durham 539 for 3 at Gloucester. Ben McKinney eventually out for 244. David Beddingham not out 118. So Durham pulling up a massive total there, as indeed Northamptonshire are at Kent, but they're off the field for bad light. Northants 437 for 1. As in comes Barnard over the wicket, bowls to Coles, who stylishly bends the knees and plays it to backward point. There is no run. At Old Trafford, Derbyshire 32 for 1 in reply to Lancashire's 351. And at Lords, Middlesex 125 for 7 in reply to Worcestershire's 191. Plenty of wickets there.
So much cricket going on today up and down the country.
I know, can't keep up with it all. And Nicky was mentioning the scores in the Women's One Day Cup as Barnard is in bowls to Coles. He's caught. That's a loose shot by James Coles. He'll be really disappointed about that. Looking to drive the ball outside of the off stump. And he's caught in the slips, and the third wicket goes down. Well, he's played a couple of nice shots, James Coles. He could have been caught when he was on 8. He has been caught, though, when he is on 11. And Sussex are on their third wicket of the day. Sussex are 78 for 3. Good catch by Rob Yates at second slip. And all of a sudden, Sussex are 70 for 3. And I think James Coles will be disappointed with that shot.
Yeah, it's a very interesting shot to play given the current situation of the game. He goes for 11. Just don't know where that came from.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those, isn't it, that if, it's slightly, I mean, it looked to me as if it was slightly wide. We might see a replay on your screen in a minute, Nicky. I mean, it looked to me like it was a little wide, but he certainly threw the kitchen sink at it, and a big nick through to Yates, who took a comfortable catch round about waist high.
Just waiting for the replay.
So I was saying wickets are falling quickly around the country. We've had 3 here this morning, as out comes Jack Leaning, who wasn't in the runs last week up at Leicester. He made, let me just look back through my notes, 13 in the first innings and 6 in the second innings. So he'll be keen to demonstrate to his new teammates that he warrants his place in the side. Jack Leaning came from Kent during the winter, batting at 5, but this is a tough situation as Barnard runs away from us with this very rhythmic approach to the wicket. He's in and bowls, and Leaning is he's put down. He's put down. First ball he's received. I think that carried to first slip. Yeah, I think it did carry to first slip. Leaning gets a life before he'd scored. Was a little nick from, and I apologise because the Warwickshire players don't have numbers or names on the backs of their shirts, and I can't see who that is at first slip, but that was definitely a chance. So Leaning, can he make the most of that? Barnard in, bowls to Leaning, who cuts it away to Backwell Point, and there is no run. Well, a good over from Ed Barnard into the attack. The skipper picks up a wicket in his first over, and Sussex are 78 for 3.
Well, good here from Warwickshire, getting themselves back into it this morning. Three wickets. And in the initial half an hour, what looked like a really solid start from Sussex between Dan Hughes and Tom Haynes, who were really just ticking things along. Suddenly, Hughes and Leaning here are going to have to dig deeper. It's Booth to continue from the Cromwell Road end. Into Hughes, who shuffles back into his crease and lets this one go outside the off stump.
Keep it up, Booth, is the cry from the Warwickshire fielders. Well, I'm pretty certain that was a life for Jack Leaning. Certainly the reaction of Ed Barnard was that it was a life. It was low down to first slip's left-hand side. We'll get confirmation of that in a moment.
Booth in now, and
He's given
finger
it.
goes up. Trapped on the pads. And Warwickshire are really in this morning here at Hove. 4 down now, Sussex. And Hughes will have to go.
Yeah, caught in front, wasn't he? Daniel Hughes looking to clip the ball away through the leg side. And umpire Lloyd had absolutely no doubt at all. Looked like he played across a straight one, did the Australian. All of a sudden, things have changed. 58 without loss have suddenly become 78 for 4. And all of a sudden, Sussex are in a degree of trouble here.
Just as rewarding as that shot can be, clipping off your legs, it is equally as...
Yeah, it is. It could be fraught with danger, can't
Yes.
it? I mean, you run the risk of getting yourself LBW if you're looking to clip the ball away. Also, that we saw with James Coles, it's very easy to clip the ball in the air. Just had a message to say that the chance we thought that went to first slip, in fact, fell just short. So we thought Jack Leaning had a reprieve before he'd scored, but it would seem it just fell short of first slip. Nonetheless, there'd have been some frantic padding up, I'd have thought, going on in the Sussex dressing room. As the new man makes his way out to the middle, is the reassuring sight for Sussex supporters of John Simpson.
I don't think he expected to be walking into this situation this morning when he
No, I
turned
agree.
up at the ground. Simpson just making his way out into the middle, adjusting his thigh pad, adjusting his pads. He probably had to get his pads on in a scramble, to be honest, given the quick tumble of wickets we've had.
Yes, I'm never quite sure whether when it's a couple of wickets down, we think, right, I better get myself ready. But there's certainly been a clatter of wickets. As I say, 4 have gone down for just 20 runs after Sussex have made their way to 58 without loss. Just to reiterate, Haynes out for 32, Clark without scoring, Coles for 11, and now Daniel Hughes for 30.
Simpson just taps his bat, awaits. As Booth is in. Simpson forward in defence. Ball trickles towards point. There is no run, and Booth maintaining his right arm over. Approach to the crease as the clock is just about to strike 12, or it has just struck 12 actually.
Yes, I think I've got an update to do sometime after 12, Nicky, but I think it's a few moments away yet.
Booth in again. And Simpson plays this to point, opens the blade off the front foot. He's getting that angle going across from him. Bit of a breeze picking up. I can see the flags above the scoreboard just fluttering away.
Yeah, Richard was saying when he arrived at the ground, it's in a local forecaster said it was meant to get quite breezy, a lot brighter this afternoon, but also breezier.
Booth turns at the top of his mark and sets off again. Simpson crouches low and is forward, and this time hits the inner half of the bat. Ball goes to mid-wicket and a single is taken.
You can keep nattering away, Nikki, that's fine. We're going to be a little while till the update, I think.
Just a bit of gardening going on between both, Leaning and Simpson. Leaning on strike now. 3 slips. Deep third, backward point. Extra cover. Mid on. Deep square leg. And a fine leg in place now for Leaning, who stands tall in his stance. And forward in defence and plays it to mid on. That will also conclude the end of the over. A wicket and a run taken in that one. Sussex 79 for 4.
Well, suddenly Warwickshire have fought their way back into this game. Interesting, really, Nikki, because over the last several seasons here at Sussex, the emphasis has very much been on youth. Paul Farbrace recognised that Sussex needed some experienced players, and this is just the sort of situation where you need some experience. Where a tumbling of wickets this morning, 4 have gone down in just over the hour, and a couple of experienced cricketers who have been around the block. Just what Sussex need to try and steer their side towards parity, but at the minute 79 for 4 as Ed Barnard is in and bowls. Simpson is solidly forward to a ball of good length to place it into the offside, fielded by the tall figure of Bo Webster. He is tall, isn't he, Webster? My word.
Yeah, it really is. 6'3", if I'm not mistaken, or
Right.
4.
Let's have a look at me.
You've got your little book.
Let's have a look at my book. Sometimes it gives their heights.
It does, I think. It has some random facts in there as well, like, what's your go-to song?
In comes Barnard bowls to John Simpson, a typical Simpson shot, clipping the ball away onto the onside. And there is 4 runs to Webster, 83 for 4. Good shot. He is 6'7".
Oh,
So we were.
that's just very tall.
In comes Barnard. Round the wicket, bowls, and Simpson defends into the offside. And there is no run, fielded by the aforementioned Webster. And there is no run. 2 slips, a backward point. Cover, extra cover, mid off, mid on, mid wicket. A deep square leg. Sussex 83 for 4, having been 58 without loss. As in comes Barnard bowls, and Simpson's edge behind, and another wicket goes down. He's absolutely furious with himself, John Simpson. Poor shot outside the off stump. He's nicked it through to the keeper, and Sussex are falling like a pack of cards here. They're 83 for 5. They've lost 5 wickets for 25, and suddenly Warwickshire are very much in the ascendancy.
He's livid with himself, is John Simpson, as he struts off the pitch. All dismissals, though, this morning seem to have been pretty avoidable.
Well, that was a poor shot, wasn't he? And he's been such a good player for Sussex. You could tell he was absolutely furious with himself. We'll have that cricket update to go in a couple of moments' time. So, 87 for 5. Having at one stage been 58 without loss. So, Tom Price wandering out to the middle. We have to say Warwickshire bowled well here this morning, Nikki.
Yeah, they really have.
They've just put the ball in good areas, haven't they? But I don't think Sussex have. Well, we're just going to do our cricket update. Yeah, morning to you, Robin. It's actually not that warm here. There's quite a breeze blowing across the ground, and those spectators that are here are pretty well muffled up. But I tell you what, that's not bothering Warwickshire this morning, because they are all over Sussex like a rash here this morning. Sussex managed to get to 58 without loss. It all looked comfortable with Tom Haynes and Daniel Hughes going along very nicely. But since then, Sussex have lost 5 wickets. They're now 83 for 5, so they've lost 5 for 25. Haynes out for 32, Clark for a duck, Coles for 11, Daniel Hughes for 30, and in the last over, John Simpson caught behind for just 5. So Sussex, having looked in a very good position about half an hour ago, are now in real trouble here against Warwickshire. Very briefly, at the Oval, Surrey though, Robin, continuing to pile on the runs against Leicestershire. They're 514 for 8. Jordan Clark going along very nicely. He's on 66, and Tom Laws, who's turning into a very good all-rounder, he made 36 this morning. But here at Hove, Sussex in real trouble, Robin. They're 83 for 5. So I'll just see if we could get the studio to turn off the clean feed. Richard back with us, so in fact that gives me an opportunity. There we are, the clean feed's gone, that's good. So Nicky's going to take up commentary, and Richard will be back with you in a minute.
Booth in to Leaning, who's forward and defends the ball to extra cover. 3 slips in place as Warwickshire are well and truly on top here, and Rich is going to be very happy as he joins us in the commentary box. Wow, what a morning it has been for Warwickshire. Been absolutely fantastic with the ball, building pressure, getting those areas just time and time and again. It's been a bit of a come to it in a second as Booth is in now and Leaning us forward in defence, drops us towards mid-off and will take a quick single. Some interesting running going on here given the situation, but nothing too threatening as Rich is back in the commentary box. How good have Warwickshire been with the ball?
Well, I mean, it took half an hour for them to get going, and I suppose as an opposition team you think, oh look, Chris Wokes is going to be the threat, but it's the other bowlers who've done it. Ethan Banbury's a great, honest Championship pro, and now with Graham Welsh back as bowling coach, he might be able to set his sights even higher. Ed Barnard, who bowled beautifully without taking a wicket last week against Surrey, gets 2 rewards and almost a third with the ball that was dropped on the fingertips of Sam Hain at first slip. And Booth with the LBW that I think Sussex will consider contentious for the departure of Daniel Hughes, having watched it back about 8 times now.
Booth into Price, who's forward and drops the ball towards extra cover.
Where it pitched would be umpire's call. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I saw the replay and I've seen a flurry of comments as well. People going back and having a look at where it's pitched. And
it's literally one of those that if it's given out, it would have stayed out. If it was given not out, it would have stayed not out. It's probably just clipping the line from umpire's call.
Yeah. Booth into Price is forward and plays this straight back down the line of the wicket, and the ball goes in ricochets and hits the stumps at the other end, the non-striker's end, and Jack Leaning is just having to help sort those out now.
This hour is always going to be crucial because when the ball has nipped around throughout yesterday and for most of today, the cloud you can see is getting higher, and this afternoon when it's expected to be sunny and extremely windy, it's going to be quite hard for the seamers. So Warwickshire will want to keep on pushing through between now and lunch to try and get themselves batting again later in the day.
Short ball, this is pulled off the front foot down towards the boundary at deep mid-wicket. Deep square leg, almost losing sight of that actually. They thought it was coming their way and then completely realised it's in the other direction, and that one will just release the pressure slightly for Sussex. Price getting himself off the mark.
Well, he definitely lost sight of it, but it will be real consolation to him that the ball was nowhere near him.
Yeah, it'd been worse if it was actually coming at him and he's thinking, oh crikey, where is this? Booth in now, and this one is blocked back towards Booth by Price, and that will conclude the end of the over. 5 runs from it. Sussex 88 for 5. Price with 4, Leaning with 1, and Warwickshire have a spring in their step.
For those of you just joining us on Sports Extra, welcome aboard. Welcome down to Hove, where the sun is starting to try and poke out here. And Warwickshire have made use of the overhead conditions with 5 wickets in half an hour. to take back a grip on this game, having been bowled out for 267 yesterday. Ethan Bamber did the damage early on, breaking an opening stand of 58. Haynes bowled for 32, just got a little bit of an inside edge on a ball that was cutting back into him. Clark later that over, got a leading edge and was caught by Ed Barnard at mid-off for naught. Barnard then came into the attack, and in his first over had Coles caught by Yates at second slip, well held in the midriff. Coles out for 11. Leaning was almost out the next ball, it dropped just short of slip as Barnard comes in to begin a new over now, and that is going to go past the edge of the bat of Leaning, who survived that scare. But the following over, Michael Booth had come into the attack, and he removed Daniel Hughes for 30. Trapped LBW. It was tight as to whether it pitched on leg stump or outside leg stump. I think it would depend which camp you were in. It was certainly very, very tight. And then John Simpson nicked Ed Barnard behind to Kai Smith for 5. As Barnard approaches again, defended by Leaning, slightly hurried through that shot, played up towards mid-on. The 5 wickets falling for 25 runs after that start of 58 without loss. So Sussex now 88 for 5, looking to rebuild with Leaning, who's on 1, and Tom Price on 4. There's still a bit of batting to come, isn't there? Hudson Prentice, of course. Ollie Robinson is no mug. Carson similarly. But they could do with runs from these two, as this is driven nicely by Leaning, wide of mid-on, who will give chase. There's going to be a couple here, you would think. They think about a third, but by that stage, Bamber has caught up with the ball. 2 more to Leaning, he's on 3. But I mean, what we are expecting, Nicky, is very strong winds this afternoon, which could have a bearing. The bowlers tend not to love strong winds.
Yeah, and I don't blame them. I don't think I enjoy strong winds either. But yeah, it could prove slightly more difficult later on. But I did see the forecast, and it says there's meant to be some sunshine up here, so I don't know which one's right, which one's wrong.
No, you can have blue sky and wind simultaneously, as we'll find out later. An inside edge on the drive, really, and a half of the bat anyway from Leaning, as he tries to repeat the dose there. Actually, I suspect he was trying to hit it through the offside, but he clipped it towards the short mid-wicket, and there's no run. It remains 90 for 5. Yeah, no, I think it is going to be sunny and gusty.
Sunny and gusty? Mm. We'll have to wait and see. I can't trust the forecast.
I'm sure there was a cartoon series in the 70s, wasn't it?
I wouldn't know.
Sunny and gusty?
Wouldn't know. Wasn't around.
Your grandparents told you about it. Warwickshire skipper Barnard in again. Leaves that one, I think, on length. There's Leaning. It's a good leave anyway. It goes through the wicket-keeper. Warwickshire was still 2 seamers up their sleeve who we haven't seen yet in Jordan Thompson and Bo Webster.
You know what cartoon series I remember? What I really enjoyed watching as a kid?
Go on.
Willow and Stumpy. Before any cricket would show. Yep.
I don't know that one at all. As Barnard beats the bat of Leaning through to the wicket-keeper, no run, end of the over. Barnard 2 for 7 from his 3 overs, bowled beautifully so far. So I'm assuming it's a cartoon with a cricket vibe.
It's yeah. So back in the day, remember when cricket was on Channel 4?
Yes.
Yes. And before any international fixture, there would be around a 20-minute episode of Willow and Stumpy.
Okay.
And it was how do you not know about Willow and Stumpy? And it was a little. Willow and Stumpy was a TV program. It was an animated TV program, and it was all about cricket, and it was like cricket for kids. I'm going to get a little episode up for you later so you can watch it during lunch, because the fact that you look so confused as I say
I'm not confused. I just don't recall it. And I'm a bit of a TV anorak normally.
Here's Booth to Price, who's forward and opens the blade, trying to run this down fine, but it doesn't get past third slip, who dives, and I can't make out. I think it's Bo Webster, is it?
Yes.
Yes, it is. 6'7".
Well, no, once he stood up, you were in no doubt about it. The other talking point this morning has been how quiet it is in terms of attendance. Rather fewer people here today than there were yesterday. Tomorrow it's free entry if you book in advance, because it's the day of the Brighton Marathon. So you could watch the marathon and then can watch a day's cricket. The weather's meant to be a bit nicer.
Booth in again in the same Fuller delivery, which Price drives, but straight into extra cover's chest. That's going to be painful.
He looked like he deliberately fielded that with his chest. Which was quirky. He's attacked it with his chest.
No pain, no gain, right?
I mean, it's really you might say it's on a wicket end, but it's an unused wicket. It's not like it's been roughed up.
Booth turns and sets off down the slope. And this one just cutting back into Price. He looks to work it into the leg side, and that's just ended up dribbling in front of him.
The Warwickshire innings ended in the 80th over yesterday, and even in the 80th over, the ball was doing a bit. And Kai Smith and Finn Hudson-Prentice both talked about that after play yesterday. Probably unusual at Hove for it to be like that all day, but it looks like it's continued in much the same vein. There's just that little bit of help for the bowlers every ball.
Booth into Price, who's on his toes and turns this into the leg side towards the vacant mid-wicket region. Will come through for a single.
I mean, we thought 267 was probably below par. There were one or two shots that I'm sure the Bears would take back. But Kai Smith did say that he felt they were in the game with 267.
Well, with the way they bowled this morning, they definitely are. Booth to leaning forward and defends that, looking a little bit uncomfortable. Actually, as it's picked up at extra cover and lots of sweaters being worn around the ground. I don't think there's anyone who's not got a sweater on right now, as the breeze blows through the county ground here at Hove.
Have you remembered your coat?
I did.
That's good.
I got it.
I know, worried about. I went all paternal yesterday.
Thank you for the concern. As Booth is in and leaning forward, drives through the vacant mid-off region, and this ball should go all the way. It's got the legs, and it does. Well-timed shot there from Jack Leaning. And that will also conclude the over as well. 5 runs from it. Sussex on 95 for 5, with Price on 5 and Leaning moving on to 7.
I think that might conclude the spell for Michael Booth as well. 1 for 21 from his 5 overs, but I sense that we may not be too far away from seeing another burst from Chris Wokes, who only bowled a moderate number of overs first up this morning. Didn't get much joy from them, but I think there are indications that Chris Wokes would like to have another go. And if the ball is nibbling, and Ed Barnard is the sort of bowler that if it's doing a little bit, he's got that. He's not as fast as the others, but he will keep it in the right place. And we've seen the virtue. In fact, Chris Wokes is whirling his arms and having a stretch now. So I think there's a real possibility that they think now a little bit pace slightly off. Booth is quick, Bamber's pretty sharp, but it's actually the ones who are slightly slower that are causing the problems this morning in this session, as Barnard comes in once more, and forward resolutely in defence is Price. Plays it back up the track. Wokes in the end will pick it up at mid-off.
Rich, it's day 2, which means we can go through some more questions on the championship quizzes list of questions from the Sussex Museum today.
Yeah. It's a list put together by the Cricket Museum here, and they're tough. As this ball is dabbed nicely down towards the vacant third, and that will probably go all the way from Tom Price. That's a very clever shot from, just use the pace of the ball. Very low risk. That takes him to 99 for 5. I don't know whether we got confirmation of the answers for the first 3 questions yesterday.
I don't think so. I'll ask Adrian.
No.
Did we get any answers sent through?
I'll explain later. I think the museum would like us to go to the end of the game before we go.
We're going to go all the way to the end of the game. Which
Okay.
if the end of the game comes in a hurry at some point on day 3, that would be... We'll have a question in a minute then.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Barnard in, pushing forward in defence is Price. The voice off there was that of Adrian Harms, for those of you listening on Sports Extra. Nicky Chowdhury alongside Richard Wilford. At Hove on a blustery day, but with the cloud rising. Look at that, there's flecks of blue now. Look at that. Beautiful away to our right. We're seeing it squeeze in between the clouds. Driven is Barnard, but that's a lovely piece of fielding in his follow through.
I thought I was going delusional there, trying to find that
Oh, there's
big
bits
blue
of blue over there.
a little bit blue.
Yeah, and I'm not putting. We've been I've been preoccupied with the balcony that's got lots of towels drying, and what appear now to be a row of socks. None of those appear to be blue.
Quite obsessed with the towels though, but they're still out there.
Yeah, they were there yesterday. They're still there today. They'll be stiff. Barnard once more. Short ball down the leg side as well. Smith has to make some distance. It's eventually going to be called a wide. I think based on the fact that it was too high. Now, it took a while to come to the decision. Graham Lloyd indicated from square leg to Russell Warren that it should be a wide. But Russell Warren was so burdened down between his gloves, and he was trying to make sure he got his clicker done for the ball, and the jumpers of Ed Barnard, of which there appear to be two tucked under his arm. He had to rearrange them before he could signal to the scorers. But eventually the wide was signalled, and now a drop chance, and a very, very difficult one. That was a return catch for Ed Barnard, who looks at his fingertips. It was driven firmly by Price, and he's never got more than 10 inches off the ground there. And he's laid his right hand on it, and it goes down to the turf. And he looks disgruntled with himself, but that was as difficult a chance as you're going to get. I mean, it was a good stop. He was so close to what would have been his third wicket in 4 overs. 100 for 5. The extra brought up the 100. All the questions in this quiz have a connection with Warwickshire, because that's who Sussex are playing, and it's the Sussex Cricket Museum who've come up with them. His back of a length guided nicely off his pads for a single by Price. He's 10, 101 for 5. Go on, Nicky Chowdhury. Imagine you are hosting the big quiz. Imagine you are...
That's what I've been waiting for my whole life. I can't wait.
Imagine your TV's Ben Shepherd.
Right, the Championship Quizzes 2026 by the Sussex Museum for this fixture against Warwickshire.
Come on, more showbiz, more showbiz.
Okay. Question number 4. At Edgbaston, 130 years ago this year, Warwickshire sent down 264 5-ball overs in the course of 2 days, trying to dismiss their opponents in a single innings. Who were those opponents?
How on earth are we supposed to know that? But I'm presuming, because they asked it, it's probably Sussex. I mean, why else would they ask it?
I'm not sure, but just on that, we will have a change in bowling from the Cromwell Road end, and Chris Wokes will be coming into the attack for the first time today.
So 264 5-ball overs.
I'll repeat the question once more if someone,
I need to do
our
the maths
listeners,
here.
who may have missed it. So at Edgbaston, 130 years ago this year, Warwickshire sent down 264 5-ball overs in the course of 2 days, trying to dismiss their opponents in a single innings. Who were those opponents? As Chris Wokes stands tall at the top of his mark and runs down the slope. 2 slips in a gully in place for Price, who lets this short ball go by into the gloves of Smith. And that's actually kind of just ballooned through to Kai Smith.
It's a rare Chris Wokes bouncer, but it did have tennis ball bounce, and it wasn't
It kind of
particularly
went,
straight.
woo, and then it kind of died. But
It went woo. Yeah.
do you know the answer? That's question number 4.
Well, but obviously not. I mean, I'm guessing that if they asked it, it's Sussex. I'm just working out how many 6-ball overs that innings must have lasted.
Do the maths then, as Wokes is in now. Price forward, opens the blade and just gets this wide of gully. Will come through for a single. Brings leaning back on to strike.
So by my reckoning, 264 5-ball overs is 220 6-ball overs. That's a long innings.
It's a very long innings. Talk about concentration. As Wokes makes his way back to the top of his mark. No change in the field here for leaning. But are the Sussex Museum going to be doing this for every home fixture then, Adrian? Oh, yes is the answer. Wow, the excitement as Wokes is in now. And back of a length, just chopping back into leaning. He plays this off his hips towards square leg and will come through for the single. I guess as you come to the cricket, you can also brush up on your cricket knowledge. 2 birds, 1 stone. Learn some new facts. And when you know the answer, this is like what I would do. I'd go and tell other people, did you know this? And then they'd have no Scooby.
Well, yes. The way to shorten the number of Christmas card addresses on your list.
Wokes in to Price, who's forward and lets this one go through to the gloves of Smith.
Yeah.
Won't have to write many, will I?
When do you become friends? Oh, just their knowledge of useless trivia. That's what it was. We had something in common. And yet none of these questions have come up in a pub quiz. I wonder why.
You know, one day there will be. And then...
No. I mean, they are defining niche, the questions. They're defining niche.
Wokes into Price, who's forward and defends to extra cover and takes a couple of steps off the back of that shot as well down the wicket.
It's all right for those of us who are obsessed with our cricket that don't dislike the
know-
questions. And we still haven't established who Warwickshire's reigning karaoke champion is, which was question number 1 yesterday.
That's true. We'll go through the top 4 questions after this. In case you've got any listeners who've just tuned in today and they're wondering what on earth are we talking about. As Wokes is in back of a length, this is guided down towards deep cover by Price. He'll go through for the single, and he shall also keep strike. Sussex now moving on to 104 for 5. Price for 12, leaning with 8.
He's absolutely farming the strike at the moment, Tom Price, but it's effective because they've just calmed things down. They've added 21 runs, and it's about 21, 22 minutes since the last wicket fell after that flurry of 5 in quick succession. So they're building something now.
They are.
What you wanted to review yesterday's questions?
Well, the first question from the list yesterday that we read out was, who in 2025 was reported as the Warwickshire Club's reigning karaoke champion? And you guessed it would be...
And I'm guessing it's probably Dan Mosley, but I could be wrong. Ed Barnard comes into bowl, and Price guides him into the covers. There'll be no run. I mean, this was even, I was saying at the time, those who weren't with us on Sport Extra, that we know Ethan Bambury's has a terrific singing voice, but it's choir music. So I'm not sure that necessarily translates to Mustang Sally.
I think karaoke skills and proper singing skills are... I don't think you need to have be able to sing properly to be good at karaoke.
Driving, but to no avail, because he's gone straight into the covers, is Price. He seemed to time that reasonably well. It's not been an easy surface to time the ball on this by any stretch of the imagination. What's your go-to karaoke song then?
Ooh,
That's thrown you.
that really has thrown me. When was the last time I did karaoke? Christmas, actually. Christmas.
Not that long ago. Barnard in once more, just back of a length, but angled into the pads and clipped through the vacant mid-wicket area out to the fielder in the deep for a single. 105 for 5. Sussex still trail by 162.
Yeah, but it was an Indian karaoke, so we were doing all Bollywood songs.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so
With the actions,
with the action, with everything, the
all
dance
in.
moves, the singing, the actions, you name it.
Is there sort of family and group pressure that you have to join in?
Depends on depends who you're with.
Okay. Barnard once more forward with a large step is leaning and pushes it up towards mid-off, where it's fielded by Wokes. A spell of relative calm from Sussex's point of view. Will have thoughts of the fact that it should be easier to bat this afternoon, and the sky will be bluer, and the wind will have an effect on the bowlers as well, particularly after 3 when it's scheduled to be 40 miles an hour. Barnard just back of a length, but leaning still able to get well forward, and once more sends it along the deck to Wokes at mid-off. Did you go solo, or did you have more than one of you singing?
No, there was 2 of us.
See, I like that.
Because a lot of Bollywood songs have a male voice and a female voice, so you need to have like 2 people like singing conversation.
Yeah, storytelling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Again, leaning forward to a ball just outside off stump, this time into the covers, and there's no run. The 12th man had been on the field during that spell, so that's going to change. End of the over, 105 for 5.
And end of my stint here. Before I overstay my welcome, I shall make way for Adrian Armsridge.
I mean, it's not possible. Nicky Chowdhury will be back with us during the afternoon session. Chris Wokes is going to continue. Bit more of a pleasant burble around the ground now as well. Adrian, who was a whirl in purple yesterday, is now in navy blue today.
You've got a good memory. We're going to be joined by Alexia Walker shortly. I'll explain who Alexia is in a moment. As Chris Wokes comes in, clipped onto the leg side by Tom Price. He picks up another single. He goes to 14. Sussex to 106 for 5. Alexia is the head coach of the Sussex women's team, and she's going to come and have a little natter to us for 15 minutes.
Well, I shall make way after the next delivery.
Wokes wanders back to his mark. Sussex, whose season gets underway tomorrow with a trip to Leicestershire. As Wokes is in bowls and he's struck on the pad. Umpire Lloyd has a good look at that, but decides that Jack Leaning is not out. Leaning remains on 8, and Sussex 106 for 5. Thank you, Richard. So Alexia's going to come and have a natter for 15 minutes before the coach trundles out of Hove and makes its way up the M1. 2 slips in a gully, deep backward point, cover mid-off, mid-on, deep backward square, and a fine leg as Chris Wokes turns at the Cromwell Road end of the ground and comes running in to bowl. Bowls to Leaning, who's beaten outside of the off stump, through to Keeper Smith, and there is no run. Hello, Alexia.
Good morning.
Lovely to see you.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure. The new season just around the corner. Exciting times, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah, year 2 of Tier 2 cricket, so we've got a lot more idea about what's going on this year, and yeah, excited to get going tomorrow.
Wokes turns at the far end of the ground and comes running into bowl to the right-handed Leaning. He's in and bowls, and Leaning covers up, plays down the track. Wokes plays off of his own bowling, and there is no run. So just explain, you're playing Leicestershire tomorrow. That's the One-Day Cup.
Yep, so we've got a couple of rounds of the One Day Cup, which is the 50 over stuff, wearing the pink. Then we go into the Knockout Cup, which is the kind of FA Cup style competition, where if we're successful in the first couple of rounds, we may tee up a Lancashire away fixture. That's how it's planned out so far.
Wokes makes his way down the hill and bowls, and Leaning clips firmly onto the onside. That's a nice shot by Jack Leaning. That's probably the best shot that he's played, actually. Clipping it all the way along the for 4 runs. He goes to 12, and Sussex to 110 for 5. So the cup that's like the FA Cup, is that 50 overs as well? How does that work?
That's a T20.
Right,
so
okay.
The first 2 rounds are Tier 2 and 3 sides only.
Right.
We host Norfolk here. They're very excited about their first ever trip down
Yeah, I
to
bet
the
they are.
South Coast. We were quite glad it was a home fixture, to be honest, too.
Yeah, it's a lot of travelling otherwise.
Yeah.
As in comes Wokes and bowls, and Leaning beaten outside the off stump. Good response from Chris Wokes. That's an interesting over. End of the over, 110 for 5 here on BBC Sports Extra, BBC Radio Sussex and BBC WM. Adrian Harms and Alexia Walker. I described you as the head coach of the women's team. Would that be accurate, Alexia?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Although I did have a fantastic view yesterday. I was in the operations room printing the last few numbers on backs of shirts, directly behind the bowler's arm, so I had a fantastic hour of doing the shirts and watching Sussex bowl beautifully yesterday.
They did. And just for the benefit of our listeners, Alexia, just explain, because Tier 2 means that the girls who are playing are, they're not full-time cricketers.
No, so that it's a non-professional tier of the domestic setup, but it's more heavily resourced than it ever has been. So we get very great support from the club. We get the kit, the travel, the bus is on its way. Stuck in traffic apparently, but it's on its way. Yeah, it's that kind of shop window, if you like, for young players that want to become professionals. But yeah, it's a great standard of cricket.
Change of bowling. Jordan Thompson is running in from the C end of the ground, comes in and bowls to Price, who plays to mid-wicket, and there is no run. And the majority of the players, are they Sussex based? How does that work, Alexia?
Yeah, a bit of everything really. So we have some young players that are part of the regional academy, which is run out of Hampshire, but Sussex players are part of that. 3 of those Vipers Academy are actually in Australia at the moment in the England under-19 squad, so a bit of a shame we missed them for the first 2 rounds, but wonderful that 3 of our
amazing
young players are out there doing their thing.
And who's that, Alexia? Just break off. In comes Thompson, bowls, and Price is first. A lovely looking shot by Price. He's going to get a couple of runs. Well, it was going to be a couple of runs, but they decided against the second. That was probably a wise decision, as Price goes to 15 and Sussex to 111 for 5.
Yes, Molly Adams, our keeper and top order bat. Eve O'Neill, the leg spinner, who played some fantastic games for us last season, and then we've acquired Shristi Patel over the winter, Berkshire originally, so she's very well thought after by England under-19s as a young 16-year-old, so she'll be coming into our side for the next couple of years as well.
Which is good news. In comes Thompson over the wicket, bowls, and defending is Leaning down the onside of the track, no run. And we should say for those listening that the name Adams synonymous with Sussex cricket, of course, the daughter of Chris Adams.
Yep, so 2 out of his 3 daughters have now represented Sussex superbly, both of which have both scored centuries for them as well. So, it's great to see Molly developing as quickly as she has in the last 2 years, and she's having a wonderful time out in Australia, being the main the main keeper for the under-19s.
In comes Jordan Thompson running in over the wicket, bowls, and forward comes Leaning, plays it down the track. Thompson fields of his own bowling and gives Jack Leaning a bit of a stare. There is no run. We'll look ahead to this season in a minute. Just sort of refresh people's memories as to how the side performed last year, Alexia.
So we had some fantastic games last year, sometimes landing on the wrong side of the win-loss line, but we were pleased with how we did, but we've got ambitions to do even better this year, kind of finish mid-table of the One Day Cup, and the Blast was a very, very tough southern group.
Yes, it was. In comes Thompson, bowls down the leg side. Very good take by Kai Smith, who was suggesting maybe that Jack Leaning got a little nick on that, but umpire Warren says not out. Yeah, that was a tough group, but you had a couple of decent results in there nonetheless, Alexia.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think some of the double headers, the Gloucestershire ones.
That was really good. I was at that game.
Yeah, well, down at Cheltenham as well, the men had a tricky game, and I think it was Danny Lamb, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
That came out and whacked a few boundaries down there, and great atmosphere. So yeah, we've really enjoyed the kind of new platform.
In comes Thompson, bowls and clipped away by Leaning down towards fine leg. They'll take one. They'll think about coming back for a second, but decide against it. Good bit of fielding down there at fine leg. Presents anything more than a single. Leaning to 13, total to 112 for 5 at the end of Jordan Thompson's over, an over that cost just those 2 runs. So you say Molly Adams has been away, and those other 2 girls as well. What about the rest of the squad? Do you train a lot during the winter? Is that difficult? Because presumably all the girls have got they're either studying or they've got jobs or they're trying to visit cricket around their lives.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some are at university, and some of those universities have got great cricket programmes. They've been well looked after. There's been half a dozen that are living in and around the county that we've been able to see regularly, and then the others have been coming back monthly for squad sessions as well.
Chris Wokes in down the hill, bowls to Leaning, who plays onto the onside. They take a well-judged signal. Well done, Tom Price. He was backing up and scooted through to make sure that Leaning picked up the single.
And I think the other one as well is just trying, with me being full-time, with a bit more access to the grounds and other staff here, it means that we can work around those players a bit more. We've had some 7:30 in the morning sessions here, some late night ones, whatever works for the players. And occasionally I pop up to London as well, and some of the girls that work in the city could try and do a net with them in the evenings. So whatever we can to make it work.
Wokes in bowls, and Price changed his shot. He was going to let that go, and in the end just deflected the ball into the slip cordon. And there is no run. So
our captain, Kiara Green, who goes past my total of caps, I think tomorrow, I think we're joint at the moment, I think tomorrow she goes past me. So it was fantastic to have an experienced player like that. She obviously grew up playing with Georgia as well, the besters are friends. So from that era to have somebody that's still churning out runs and wickets is really important for the side.
Wokes running in, bowls, and Price's forward plays to mid-on. There's a howl of an appeal. I'm not entirely sure why, but either way, Tom Price survives. He's on 15, the total to 113 for 5. So it requires a good deal of dedication from you, Alexia, but as well commitment from the players as well to fit these sessions in at times that may not generally be considered to be that convenient.
No, absolutely, and it's the same for all the tier 2 sides. Finding ways to help the girls develop around their work and education commitments is really important.
In comes Wokes, bowls, Price beaten outside the off stump, taken by Smith, and there is no run. And what's the difference in standard between Division 1 and Division 2? Because in Division 1 these players are full-time cricketers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of Tier 2 sides supplement their sides with loans from Tier 1 sides, but also academy players who are, kind of based around these Tier 1 sides but not full professionals, so they drop into it. So it is a decent level, and a lot of the matches are being played on grounds like this as well.
Wokes in, bowls, and Price plays with a high left elbow, punches that into the offside, and there is no run.
Yeah, so to be playing on grounds like Hove, tomorrow we're up at Grace Road, it kind of levels up the standard as well. You're not playing on some strange out grounds or club grounds on a Sunday afternoon, you're being treated incredibly well, and it makes a massive difference to the girls being able to be confident with where to put the ball and how to be confident with the bat as well.
Wokes turns and runs in towards us and bowls. Price plays into the offside, no run. So what would happen? You've got sorry, just say end of the over. 113 for 5. Price on 15, leading on 14. Listening to live cricket on the BBC on BBC Sports Extra. Adrian Harms with Alexia Walker, the head coach of the Sussex women's team, who are about to get on their coach and embark on a trip up the M1 to Leicester. So how's your day work today? I mean, do all the girls come here, or do you pick some along the way? How do the logistics work?
Yeah, so we're picking up about half the squad and staff here, pick up a few more at Pease Pottage, those that live kind of more north of here. A few will have to go direct because they're in the squads of tier 1 sides, or one of them's playing for university today. So yeah, we'll all find our way to Leicester tonight.
In comes Jordan Thompson, who is caught behind. A wicket goes down, another wicket goes down, and Jack Leading is on his way for 14. It was a pacey delivery from Jordan Thompson. He goes, and Sussex in real trouble here. 113 for 6, and Jack Leading gone for 14.
Yeah, that was pretty quick, pretty full, wasn't it? Yeah, did him a bit of pace potentially there, but yeah, both sides have bowled incredibly well with this newer ball, haven't they?
Well, that's the 6th wicket. That's a good catch there by Sam Hain in the slip cordon. So Leading has gone. 6 wickets have gone down this morning, and Sussex are at one stage 58 without loss. Now 113 for 6 as Leading makes his way off, and the new man coming out is going to be Jack Carson, who... No, it's going to be Finn Hudson-Prentice, I do apologise. And then Jack Carson, Ollie Robinson, and the final man will be Henry Crocombe. 14 in 28 balls for Jack Leading in 48 minutes. It's been tough this morning for these Sussex batters. A couple of boundaries in there, 113 for 6. So you get to Leicester tonight,
yep.
Alexia. Then what happens in the morning? Are you sort of down to Grace Road early? How does that work out?
Yeah, women's games start at 10:30 a.m. and
right.
I'm not entirely sure why.
No.
Tier 1 and Tier 2, so we'll be down to the ground just after 8. Get all the players prep in. Get familiar with it because none of the girls have played at Grace Road before, so it was my first ever job at Grace Road actually, so
really?
20 years ago.
Okay,
so,
what were you doing there?
I was an analyst for the first team for white ball cricket.
Is that because you were living in that neck of the woods? Were you at university up there?
Yeah, Loughborough University. I was just finishing off my masters, coaching on the university programme, so yeah, great year actually. It's when they won the T20 at Trent Bridge, so obviously all down to the analysis, but no, I thoroughly enjoyed my time there. Great club.
Thompson runs away from us in and bowls, and forward comes Hudson-Prentice and squirts that one down to third man. Picks up a single, 114 for 6, Sussex. So you get to the ground quite early. Does everyone have a net? How does that work out?
Yeah, so the top 4 or 5 batters will go and have a hit. My assistant coach, Charlotte Taylor, will be rigorous with her timing schedule for that. She's actually on comms today, leading the comms down at the utility bowl for the Hampshire women's game. So we're all jack of all trades, really. Bowlers will get a bowl through from both ends, and then we'll do some team stuff before we get going.
Comes Jordan Thompson over the wicket, bowls, and clipped nicely by Tom Price, who picks up a single down to fine leg. He goes to 16, 115 for 6. And what are your hopes for the season, Alexia?
Well, yeah, I think we've just got to be super positive with our game plans. Having had a whole year of it and a really nice long winter, really developing each individual skill sets, but also as a team knowing the best way that we go about our cricket. I think we're coming into this season a lot more planned and organised and confident in the way we play our cricket and what we want to do, and just keep developing players. You know, although we do lose a few players occasionally to professional contracts, that means we're doing our job because we're playing good cricket.
I was going to say, does that give you... that must be good to see the progression of those players, as in comes Jordan Thompson racing in, bowls to Hudson-Prentice, who defends into the offside. There is no run.
Yeah, I just bumped into Sarah Taylor actually, and we were having a good old natter. We grew up playing a lot of our cricket together. You know, since the pandemic, 16 people that have played for Sussex are now professional cricketers. Say
that again.
16, yeah, that are now playing professional cricket somewhere. So brilliant, and we're really happy that people are doing what they need to do and developing their cricket. You know, we'd love to be a professional side here, don't get me wrong, but the best we can do is keep helping players be the best they can be.
In comes Thompson and bowls, and he beats Hudson Prentice outside of the off stump. I don't know if it's possible for the studio just to cut the feed just until they come to us. That would be quite handy. We can hear football commentary in our ears at the moment. 115 for 6. And an exciting year ahead, or season ahead for women's cricket, with the World Cup and everything else coming up this year.
Absolutely. You know, it's after what rugby and football have done in the last couple of years, it's cricket's time to shine now, and we're all really excited to see what England can do on their own home turf.
Oh. Thompson in. Yes, good afternoon, Gary. I'm afraid they haven't improved at all. In fact, they've just lost another wicket. The wicket of Jack Leaning, who was caught by Sam Hain off the bowling of Jordan Thompson, who's bowling a pacey spell here from the sea end of the ground. Sussex here 115 for 6. At one stage, they were 58 without loss, but they've lost 6 wickets this morning. Tom Price is holding things together, the new signing from Gloucestershire. He's 16 not out, but Sussex in all sorts of trouble here. 115 for 6. That in reply to Warwickshire's total yesterday of 267. There we are. Yeah, but it is a real chance. And I must admit, I haven't kept an eye on ticket sales, but I did see something earlier on that said ticket sales have been very good for the World Cup. As in comes Wokes bowls to Price, who's beaten outside the off stump, through to Smith. There's no run.
Yeah, I believe so. That's and the international we've got here, I think the ticket sales have been very, very strong.
Yes.
There are still some available, but I think we're leading the way down here with some of the best sales for when England play New Zealand here. But yeah, it's so exciting, and it's great to see young boys and girls coming to watch it. They just seem to love cricket. It doesn't matter who's playing it; they just want to watch great cricket.
In comes Wokes bowls, and Price is struck on the pad. There's a loud appeal, and Graham Lloyd gives it a long, hard look, and he decides that Tom Price is going to go, and the 7th wicket of the morning falls. Chris Wokes, well, he barely looked at the umpire, who was jumping down the wicket. Price goes, he drags himself away from the crease, and Sussex, having been 58 without loss, are now 115 for 7. And suddenly this Warwickshire total of 267 looks a good score, Alexia.
Yeah, I think that partnership yesterday with when Wokes came out to bat has proved very vital now, hasn't it? With
it has.
This situation. But you know, Sussex will be buoyed from the confidence from last week, and let's hope Jack can come out and put some runs on like he did last week as well.
Well, he's played very well last week for his 85. Did. Jack Carson. Just in terms of the club itself, Alexia, it's a difficult time for the club. We've heard a lot during the winter about the financial problems around the club, and particularly in terms of recruitment of players. Does that affect the women's team as well? How have these financial impositions imposed by the ECB affected the women's side?
Well, most of our funding comes from the ECB anyway, so that's kind of ring-fenced, if you like. But
right.
You know, now I'm a lifelong fan. I've been associated with the club for 30 years, so it was a difficult time. But you know, let's look forward now. There's lots of fantastic things in place with the club, lots of great plans ahead to keep developing the ground. But no, from a women's point of view, we kept our head down, keep hitting balls, and it's been really lovely actually. The last couple of days that I've been around, lots of members, and at the forums that I went to leading up to the season as well, members very excited to watch more cricket here for the women's side. So fingers crossed, we're a real positive story to keep shouting about, and get more fans coming down and watching and supporting us, and keep the club in the right direction financially too.
Well, I'm really pleased about that, because you do wonder if there are cutbacks, where those cutbacks are going to come. So it's good news to know that the women's team are unaffected. Jack Carson is taking strike as a helicopter makes his way across the ground. Lots more blue sky arriving. I don't know what the forecast's like for Leicester tomorrow. Do you look at weather forecasts?
I do, but 5 days out is a little bit too far.
Wokes in bowl. Sorry to Jack Carson, who's off the mark with a boundary.
That's very nice, thank you.
Yeah, we'll have more of those. Jack plays that wide of second slip and wide of gully. The ball runs away for 4 runs down to third man. And Jack is on his way with the boundary, 119 for 7.
Oh, just having a look on the old
Leicester.
weather. Similar. It does look like it.
I think it's fine.
There could be a bit of rain around, but
right.
We were undone a bit by rain on the first game last year down in Cardiff. it took us a bit by surprise that we actually managed to get out with half an hour's notice. So this time we're ready for anything, whatever happens, over reductions, etc. We're ready to go.
And in terms of players, you've got some of the players who are in Australia. We don't want to put pressure on any of the side, but any particular players who we should look out for during the season? As in come Wokes, bowl to Carson, who's forward. Wokes fields off his own bowling, and there is no run.
Well, we've got a really deep bowling attack at the moment. We've got a couple of injuries, but we're taking with us Indigo Gentry, who's a 6-foot bowler, Anna Buckle from Arundel Way. Got a couple of 5-for and a 4-for last year, so she hopefully will continue that form. Anna Lewis, who's a gnarly little medium pacer, who's at the University of Brighton at the moment, so we'll get her for at least 3 years as well, which is great. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how the bowlers get on this year.
In comes Wokes bowls to Carson, who's forward, plays to mid-on, and there is no run. Chris Wokes, I think he had a little word there with Jack Carson. He doesn't look too happy. I don't think he was too happy about conceding that 4, Alexia, to be honest.
Yeah, there was a little chat there, but with Wokes I could see his beaming smile from here as well, so it was a bit of tongue-in-cheek, I think, but it's good to see. A great crowd yesterday as well. I think
it was an excellent crowd, wasn't it? In fact, I was quite surprised. I thought it might be a bigger crowd today, actually, being a Saturday, but in fact, there's a message came in about that. I'll read in a moment. As in comes Wokes and bowls to Carson, who shoulders arms. Lets that go through to Kai Smith, and there is no run. Ended the over, 119 for 7. Carson on 4, Hudson Prentice on 1. I have to say, Alexia, as well, I thought yesterday around the ground, just arriving at the ground with, there has been a lot of doom and gloom. We can't pretend there hasn't been around the club during the winter. I just got the feeling yesterday everyone was just glad to be at a cricket match at Hove.
It really did feel like that. There was a great buzz around the ground, people chatting, catching up. It's what cricket's about, isn't it?
Yes.
They might not see each other for 6 months throughout the winter, the fans, and they all catch up and have a chat. And yeah, it was me and Colin, who's operations, we said about it's one of the fullest first days I think we've seen in a long time.
No, I agree. Jordan Thompson is in bowls, down the leg side, taken by Smith, I think off the thigh pad. There is no run. All sorts of journalists here. I saw Mike Atherton was here yesterday, and he wrote a very interesting piece that was in the Times. There are other newspapers are available, of course, but I thought he wrote a very interesting article about Sussex. I was also talking about the Sussex Cricket Museum and some of the great stuff that's going on here at Hove. So I thought that was a very balanced article that he wrote. As Thompson, are you all right for time, by the way?
Yeah, the bus is delayed, so we're all good.
Thompson is in and bowls and let go outside the off stump, and there is. Where's the bus coming from?
Well, we actually use a company called Bayliss, who are Kent-based, so
Right,
it comes from
okay.
over Kent Way. But yeah, it's fine. That's why we leave this time, plenty of time.
Yeah.
But no, looking forward to seeing what's written about us this year as well. I know that Hugh Turberville's a big fan of Sussex
Yes.
cricket in general, and always puts a piece in about us.
And the cricketer, and
yeah, and no, it was good to see Mike down here, and Rob Key was about as well.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, there were a lot of distinguished faces around. In comes Thompson bowls. That's a lovely looking shot by Finn Hudson Prentice. Deserved more than a single, really. I thought it was going for 4. He's played it out through the covers. That's Finn Hudson Prentice. He goes to 2. Sussex to 120 for 7. Just for the listeners on Sports Extra, Sussex beginning this morning on 17 without loss. They got to 58 without loss, and then lost 5 for 25 in just a little over half an hour. Since then, they've also lost Jack Leaning and Tom Price. So 7 wickets have gone down this morning as the sun breaks through, and Jordan Thompson, who's bowling a decent lick from the sea end of the ground, running up the hill here at Hove to bowl to Jack Carson. 2 slips and a gully in place. Thompson in bowls to Carson, who's resolutely forward, plays to mid-on, and there is no run.
Yeah, busy weekend across the city actually. It's the Brighton Marathon weekend as well.
Yes.
So
Have you done a marathon?
no, my knees would allow me to. But I did work for Brighton Marathon for a number of times over the last few years. So I used to enjoy watching the runners go off at the start line. 2 years ago was Abby Sakandi, Holly Colvin, and a few of my ex-students from Backer were also running. So it was, I enjoy watching rather than running.
In comes Thompson over the wicket bowls, and Carson, I don't know if that came off the thigh pad, or I just have to wait for the umpire's signal.
Yeah.
I don't think it came off a bat. The ball ballooned in the air, and umpire Warren signals that as a leg by. Sussex go to 120 for 7, and which prompts me to say it's free admittance here tomorrow for if you're going to the marathon, or even if you're not going to the marathon, and you fancy some cricket in the afternoon, if you go to the Sussex website and click on the link, you can get your free tickets for tomorrow. So, bit of marathon and...
Absolutely, a perfect timing
Yeah.
actually. Watch the marathon on down on Hove Lawns and then wander up and watch the cricket.
Yeah, absolutely. In comes Jordan Thompson running away from us. Over the wicket bowls outside the off stump, taken by Smith. There is no run. End of the over, 121 for 7. I think we may get one or maybe two more overs in before lunch. If you just joined us, I'm Adrian Harms. I'm talking to Alexia Walker, who's the head coach of the Sussex women's team. Just in general, Alexia, what's your sort of feeling in terms of the development of the women's game around Sussex? Certainly, you know, from schools upwards.
Well, I mean, Sussex have been a fantastic advocate of the women's game since I joined it back in the early 90s. There's been a structure in place, so that really helped keep growing the numbers. But like you said, women's sport in general has just gone through the roof. So the role models that are out there for girls to see, you know, the expectation that girls get the same opportunities as boys is really, really important now.
Wokes in bowls to Jack Carson, who glides that down to fine legger, picks up a bound. That's a nice shot by Jack Carson. He just stepped inside the line and helped the ball on its way, and it's so quick down the slope here at Hove, even at this stage of the season with such a wet winter, but the ball just whizzed across the outfield for 4 runs. Nice shot by Carson. He goes to 8 and Sussex to 125 for 7.
Yeah, a huge shout out to the ground staff, I mean, around the grounds, but it's always fantastic.
Oh,
down
it's
here,
unbelievable,
isn't
isn't it? I think the outfield here, Alexia, just break off as Wokes is in again. Bowls to Carson, who's solidly forward, plays to mid-on, and there is no run. I personally don't think there are many better outfields in the country. I don't know what you find on your travels.
No, absolutely. I think, you know, with the wet and the wind that we've had this winter, I think it looks like a fantastic bit of carpet out there, Lords-esque, if you like.
Yes.
Without the probably the groundsman's budget that they've got, but no, I can't thank our ground staff enough for what they do for the women's game.
Wokes in and bowls. Carson takes one hand off the bat, plays the ball onto the onside. And there is no run. And in terms of those winter months, I mean, you obviously get used. You're talking about the players. Sometimes you have to go to them for their nets, etc. But you still get the use of the indoor school here and everything, Alexia.
Yeah, so our early morning sessions before the local girls go off to work or university, and the odd evening session. Or we're still utilising Backer as well. The Sir Rodwell Cricket Centre there is it's been our home for the last nearly 10 years now, and that's also really helpful.
Wokes is in, bowls. Carson solidly forward, plays into the offside, and there is no run. He always looks completely unruffled, Jack Carson, but he's a great competitor. And he certainly will be thinking, right, I'm going to dig in here.
Yeah, I think these two are real fighters, so let's hope I haven't jinxed them just before we're going up to lunch. But I think, yeah, we've got some really strong characters in the men's side, and the women's side are very much behind them, and we often are down here watching and getting behind them as well.
In comes Wokes. Over the wicket bowls to Carson, who's going to get runs. Now that won't please Chris Wokes. Down to here towards third man. They just pick up a single, does Jack Carson. And he goes to 9, 126 for 7. The clock, does that still say 58, Alexia?
Yes.
So I think we might get one more over.
Well, it's just ticked over, actually.
To 59.
Let's see what happens.
Oh, yeah. Now, this is interesting. Finn Hudson-Prentice is taking strike. I think Sussex will be quite keen if this is the last ball before lunch. 2 slips in place. Bo Webster was going to more of a gully position, but he's now moved back to third slip. Chris Wokes is waiting at the end of his run. And Finn Hudson-Prentice waits. Final ball of the over. Will this be the last over before lunch? Very much Warwickshire's morning, as in comes Wokes and bowls, and Hudson-Prentice lets that one go outside the off stump. I think Warwickshire will be very keen. Look at the Warwickshire players running. I mean, they're desperately keen to get another over in. Umpire Warren is striding towards. We'll look at the clock. I think we probably are going to get one more over, are we? Yes, we are going to get one. I'm just looking at the umpires here. He's got gloves on.
I noticed that. Yeah.
Umpire. I hadn't noticed that before. It is quite chilly out there. That's one thing, actually, when we were saying about do sort of hand warmers become part of the kit you're taking up to Leicester?
Yeah, I've asked our physio to make sure he grabs a load once he gets his physio kit out of the indoor school. Yeah, it might be a little bit chilly tomorrow.
This will be the last over before lunch as Jordan Thompson comes racing in, bowls to Jack Carson, who plays firmly onto the onside and picks up a single. He goes to double figures, does Jack. He's on to 10, and Sussex to 127 for 7. I don't know how long they last for, though, Alexia.
Oh, quite a while.
Do they?
I've had them before when I've had a day at school outside a lot, and driving home, I'm like, what's that in my pocket? And it's,
Oh, it does.
it's still warm.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
So they really do their job.
Yeah, they're really useful, especially for the bowlers. Trying to grip that ball is really important.
Jordan Thompson runs away from us up the hill, comes into bowl to Hudson Prentice. He's beaten outside the off stump, rather groping at that was Finn Hudson Prentice through to Kai Smith, and there is no run. So just for the benefit of our listeners and people listening around the ground, Alexia, when's the first time here that Sussex supporters can see the women's team in action here?
We're here next Sunday, the 19th, playing against Worcestershire. Worcestershire was our first win of the year last year when we went up to New Road, so we'll be looking to put in a really strong performance again against them.
Thompson wheels around and then is in, bowls to Hudson Prentice, who plays. Well, in fact, the fielder didn't see that at all. He's going to pick up a couple of runs towards me. The fielder completely lost the ball. I can't tell you the name of the fielder because
It's Alex Davis,
is
I
it?
think.
Good
Yeah.
spot. The a lot of the Warwickshire, well, none of the Warwickshire players have actually got numbers on the back of their shirts, which would be quite helpful.
I think his height is the only thing
He
that
is.
get away
He is
from
very
me.
short. Is Alex Davis, formerly of Lancashire, and normally keeps wicket as well. So it's unusual to see him sort of running around the outfield.
Keepers are often decent fielders, though, aren't they?
Yeah,
as
they
well?
are.
So,
He didn't pick that at all, did
no,
he?
he was running up the hill when it was going down the hill.
Thompson in again, bowls to Hudson Prentice, who's forward, and I lost the thread of that one. That's gone down to deep backward point, picks up a single. So Worcestershire here a week tomorrow.
Yep.
And then you say Norfolk are coming
then we'll
here?
have Norfolk in the Knockout Cup the following
Okay.
Sunday, and I believe all women's games are free entry. I'm sure there'll be more information coming out next week before our home game, but I know a lot of the members have already told me they're coming, which is fantastic to see everyone coming down and supporting the cricket, whilst the men have actually got a little gap in their season.
Yes, they
this
have.
week.
Yes, Sussex with no game next week, and then Sussex go up to Leeds to play Yorkshire. In comes Jordan Thompson running away from us in and bowls. Well, that steepling bounce to Jack Carson. He played that really well, kept his eye on the ball there, which was probably the key, Alexia.
Yeah, again, I feel like I don't want to jinx him, but he looks very balanced at the crease right now. And what's that, one more ball to get to lunch, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, it's been great to see you, Alexia. Can I, on behalf of us all here, and I'm sure all Sussex members and people around Sussex, wish the women's team all the very best for the season.
That's very kind. We'll hopefully get as many wins as we can for them and thank them for their support.
Well, we'll certainly be following the women's team's progress. Last ball to go before lunch. Bo Webster has moved. I can tell that's Bo Webster because he's the tallest man on the pitch. 6'7" as he stands at leg slip, and in comes Thompson bowls and defended by Jack Carson down the track. So lunch here at Hove. Sussex 130 for 7. Jack Carson on 10. Finn Hudson Prentice on 5. Alexia Walker, lovely to see you. Thanks very much for coming in and spending some time with us.
Thanks for having me, Adrian, and
And,
look forward to catching up again soon.
Please do, and good luck for the rest of the season. That's Alexia Walker, who's the head coach of the Sussex women's team, about to nip off and get the coach, if it eventually arrives, on its way from Kent. The women's team on its way to Leicester this afternoon for their game tomorrow. So all the very best, and just wonderful to hear all the terrific things that are going on at women's cricket here at Sussex and also around the country, and a World Cup to look forward to as well later on this year. So lunch here at Hove as the players leave the field. A few emails I'll just catch up with for those who have sent them in. I'll read for you. Terry Sadler in Arundel has been in touch. He says, I'm not surprised there aren't many people at Hove today. I would normally be there, but there's no fun watching cricket in the bitter cold. I'm feeling cold watching the game in my shorts on TV at home. If you play county cricket in the early spring and then again in late autumn rather than the proper time in summer, that's to be expected, says Terry. So thank you for that. Another one here from Benjamin, who actually he's talking a message for Nikki, who says, what have you done for a very comfortable and confident start to this morning's play? 76 without loss. Well, actually it was 58 without loss, but all of a sudden Sussex have lost a load of wickets. So Benjamin was blaming you, Nikki, for that. And a final one here from John, who is the Warwickshire supporter who listens over in Nova Scotia. in Canada. He says, hello all Bears fans, I'm listening to the Sussex Warwickshire commentary while I work from home. 2 degrees here, -8 during the week. I think actually that was a repeat of one yesterday, which was sent in by John. But thank you, John, for listening over in Canada. So there we are, lunch here at Hove. Sussex have lost 7 wickets this morning while hoping for a rearguard action on 4 from Finn Hudson-Prentice and from Jack Carson. But with the players now off the field for lunch, we'll be back with you just at about 20 to 2. But thank you for listening, and thank you to Alexia Walker for coming in and having a natter about women's cricket as well.